can be a crazy place, and when there's nowhere to go. Our health is right in our face, can we talk about it? Can we chat about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? And blah, blah, love, let's live it. Like, let's live it and finding the one. Let's do it. We are gonna pray the enemies away. If we stay, can I stay? No weapon and will never come our way. We can be in a talking point. We don't even have the curse to make a point. Break down your question all thoughts and feelings. Listen to each other truly. I can't do this solo. I know I'm not alone. I got all of y'all and that means you.
So support, you know what to do. Hit the cash app, Genesis I am, so 4702. Put your thumbs up, and like if you do, drop your thumbs down. I won't be mad at you. Come in peace and let's chop it up.
Hit my panel with intellect and respect. Drop wisdom and that we will never forget.
So please, come, please. I wanna hear from you and subscribe, like and subscribe, cause I'm a whole vibe.
So are you.
So hey, sugar. So may come in and subscribe. You're a whole vibe. Come in and subscribe.
Whole vibe. Come in and subscribe. You're a whole vibe. Come in and subscribe.
Them hey, sugar.
Come in and subscribe. Come in and subscribe.
Hey, sugars. Hey, sugars. My camera on my computer is so bad. I don't even know what to do to fix it. It's so grainy. So we're going to cover that up for now. And then we're going to leave it um, like this. Okay. We're going to have to leave it like that because I don't even know. I think I need to buy one of those like external cameras that go on the back. Okay, I probably need to put my earbud in so I can hear. Invite you guys as guests. Okay, so I can now hear whatever's happening over here, and then I can also see what's going on. Hey, sugars. Hey, sugars. I just wanted to do a quick little show. Also, I do need to build up my watch hours on YouTube. So, oh shit, oh shoot, I didn't mean to say that. I do need to build up my watch hours on YouTube. So, that's what we're doing over here. And then I'm also on TikTok. Am I on TikTok? I'm on TikTok. All right, so let me play some background music for you lovely people. And then let's just get into the show real quick too, because I don't know how long I'm gonna be up on here. So I just have a bunch of random thoughts, opinions, but I did wanted to like touch on the a couple things that I was just thinking about in regards to the Carmelo Anthony case. That's why I have in my title, the verdict is heavy, but life doesn't have to be, guys. Okay, well, let's chat. You guys know that I can have the worst thing happening to me, right? Be homeless, which I'm homeless. Just me and my dog living out of a car, and I'm live with you guys because, life is heavy, but everything, things are heavy, but everything doesn't have to be. And I try to not be so heavy. So we're going to get into the intro song one more time because I just wanted to drop that on you guys. And I also wanted to make sure that the algorithm has time to pick me up. So again, today's topic is just my random thoughts and opinions. Again, the verdict is heavy, guys, but life doesn't have to be. So let's chat about it. I don't know. Hi, Troy Brader. Hi, Ray. Was it Ray Desu? Hi, Dustin. I see. Who do I see over here? Hi, Sean. Hi, D Nice. Hi, how are you guys? Hank. Hi, Hank. Oh, Steven. I think I remember you. Hey, shout out to you guys for coming over. I don't know. Um, I'm learning how this works over here on the TikTok side, okay? So decline. All right, so I don't want to co-host on here because I don't know what's going on yet. And eventually, maybe I'll learn how to do a panel on this side too. My phone's gonna die, so I'll have to get up and get the cord. But over here on the YouTube side, well, I kind of am both doing simultaneously. So over here on the YouTube side, we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna play the song one more time, just long enough to let me get up and get some things. And now we can say welcome to the show. Now we can say welcome to the show, y'all.
Are you ready? I heard a heart. Are you ready for the show to start? Welcome to Genesis After Dark. Like a man and stay till the end. Let's turn up and have some fun. I'm Genesis and it's After Dark. Can we talk about what's been on my heart and my mind? While we build this one brick at a time. While I'm sitting at the wall, I get to think, you know, this world can be a crazy place, and when there's nowhere to go, our health is right in our face. Can we talk about it? Can we chat about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? And about love, let's live it like, let's live it and finding the one. Let's do it. We are gonna pray the enemies away. With the stay, can I stay? No weapon and will never come our way. We can be in a talking point. We don't even have the curse to make a point. Break down your questionable thoughts and feelings. Listen to each other truly. I can't do this solo. I know I'm not alone. I got all of y'all and that means you.
So support, you know what to do. Hit the cash app, Genesis I am, so for 702. Put your thumbs up, and like if you do, drop your thumbs down. I won't be mad at you. Come in peace and let's chop it up. Hit my panel with intellect and respect. Drop wisdom and that we will never forget. So please, come, please. I wanna hear from you and subscribe, like and subscribe. Cause I'm a whole vibe. So are you. So hey, sugar. So may come in and subscribe.
Myself back to the stage. Hey, sugars. Hey, sugars. Oh, it took me away. Oh, there I goes. Let me move me over and see if that's me. Okay, that is me. Okay. Hey y'all, my sugar baby, my little sugar cube. Let's turn on some background music here. And let's get with that Genesis vintage. I know my song, my theme song, my intro song says, my intro song says it's Genesis After Dark show, but it is technically an After Dark show. But I'm also trying to build, and I notice on some Saturdays I don't have anything, a lot to do. I am working on Saturdays, but this music is a teeny bit loud. I do work on Saturdays, but today I didn't. My client canceled. which gives me time to shout out to you, Sunflow. Shout out to Brenda Fagan. Shout out to Scott. Shout out to Reese, Ray's Ghost Stories joined. Hey, Ken Vale, Triple T. Hey. Um, say hi, Michael Williams. Hi, hi, hi. Say hi. Oh, okay. So if I don't invite you, oh my bad. I'm not inviting you. Sorry, I uninvite everybody. Hi. Okay, the K9. All right, so I take that back. We're not gonna do those things. Hey, Mike, how are you guys? All right, so that's over on TikTok, guys. Over here on the YouTube side, let me just check in and say hey to anyone. I'm gonna drop the link in a second. I just wanted to talk about some stuff. Let me turn my music down. It seems loud. And then either put it on a repeat. Okay, there we go. All right, so y'all know me. No one's watching, so I can do a lot here. So I had a couple reactions I wanted to get into. I wanted to get into some of the Carmelo Anthony situation. I wanted to get into a couple topics, right? Y'all know I have a little ADD. I'm going to be all over the place with this. So join me. If you're over here on TikTok, you just want to go through your phone and click on the YouTube side, you can. I don't know how to drop my link on this side, but it's definitely, it is, let me see. It is called, actually now it's called the Sugar Shack. How do I put that in the TikTok? I don't know. I'm confused on what is happening here. Why is it not? Oh, okay. Maybe this one is because I took it away. I don't even see myself over here. Hi, Justin Baskin. How are you? Okay, so here we go. All right. There we are. Okay. Now I see. I was just like, where is my channel really quick? All right. So shout out to you guys over here on the TikTok side and shout out to you over here on the YouTube side. Woo, I have one whole watcher. That's probably me watching myself. So again, this is going to be just a cute little show about me and my opinions and thoughts. The opinions and thoughts are just Genesis and Genesis alone. Um, and then all right, so then I have some videos I want to show too. I don't know, you guys can't see my stuff that I'm showing on YouTube unless you guys go log on to the YouTube. So go find me, check me out. I don't know how to drop my link or give you guys um the let's see. How do you do it? A playbook draw and guess viewer wishes. Oh, I could have flipped my camera through this way. Period. I didn't know that. Let me see what else. Oh, I could have paused the live. Oh, shut the front door. Okay, so I am not able to do anything in chat. I can't even chat with you guys. Is that how this works? Oh, it invites you guys as being live guests. Okay, that's different. I didn't know that. And then what does this do? Oh, I don't want that either. So that does that. And what does this do? Share it out. Oh, okay. This shares it out to everybody. Period. Okay. I like that idea. However, I don't like the idea of, I don't know how to, I can't, I guess that's how TikTok works. I talk to you guys and you guys chat back. So I don't know. But shout out to everybody who is over here in my TikTok with my one person watching. Oh, is this how you talk back to you guys? Oh, wait, visual effects, music background, stickers, sound effects, boards. Oh, so yeah, I can't even type it in. I can do a dual. I can change my background. Let me do that. That's cute. All right, so let me get into some things, y'all. Like I was saying earlier, I'm over here messing with TikTok, listening, looking at the TikTok, y'all. All right, so let's get into some things, right, with the Carmelo Anthony. Like I was saying earlier, I wanted to look at the frenemy side of it, and that's what I was about to do, right? So we all start, so we can go back and start back to when I first started doing with YouTube panels, right? I was doing YouTube panels with the Kanika Jenkins story. And remember the Kanika Jenkins, her friends were there to bully her. She was being bullied, her friends. Guys, I swear to God, I had my camera on, but my camera is so ugly, right? And I did a cute job on my makeup, so you guys can see because YouTube can't see it because my camera is bad. So only you guys get to see that I did a nice job. My eyebrows are on fleek. My edges are on fleek. I don't even know if we use fleek anymore. Um, but then my camera sucks over here, so no one can see it. I don't know how to do a flash goal. 3 gifters send ice cream cones to your live in 15 minutes. Is that how you do it? Okay, you guys got to send an ice cream cone to me in the next 15 minutes. Okay, fine. So, hi, cellulite. Yes, I'm out here hitting cellulite. Look, hold on. Hold on, look. Cellulite. You say I'm out here hitting walls. Where my thing at? Hold on. You know I'm learning how to use I'm learning how to use my my thing, right? I'm learning how to use my look at my camera. I don't even know. I'm told y'all I'm ODD, ADD. I don't even know about cameras to find out about a camera, to even use a camera, right? So I have no idea. The camera came on the computer. But this is for cellulite. I'm about to change my background real quick for cellulite since he made that comment. Um, I guess it will change any minute now. Oh wait, let me move me out the way so Cell can see it. There we go, cellulite. Yes, I am the captain. Wait, I'm the president. I'm the president of, I don't know which hand is going to be serious, the serious hand. The president of the Wall Hitters Association. Okay. I'm the president of the Wall Hitters Association. Okay, people. He said, learning how to use your thing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You out here hitting walls because, listen, knocking them down, Sel. I'm trying to, okay, because apparently I've been at the wall since this all began, right? Unworthy, forgotten, unloved, courageous, beautiful, powerful, amazing, all that, and it still don't matter. I even say feminine, friendly, and fit for no damn reason, right? For no damn reason. I say feminine, friendly, and fit just to be feminine, friendly, and fit, just to be single. But I was wanting to talk about, I'm going to take this down because my camera looks crazy, y'all. It looks so bad. All right. So I'm about to just do me like this. Or actually, here, let me just put the cover up the picture. There we go. Um, let's just no, no, no. He said, he said, trying to use your thing is crazy. And then I'm using my thing to hit walls. It's crazy. It's even more crazy, right? I'm a whole vibe, just like I said in the song. I cracked myself up. All right, so I wanted to know about the whole frenemy side, going back to the frenemy side. So remember, I came to this space doing the Kanika Jenkins story, and we all remember the Kanika Jenkins story being lured out, well, not lured, but invited to a party, right? And y'all gonna kill me because I did not look it up. But I forgot the other girl, not the Shanquella Robinson, but there was another girl at the same time that also got jumped by her friends. There was I don't want to make it racial to the point because there was another person who was jumped, but she was brought to a camping trip with her white friends. So in that regard, it might be just like, okay, so uh, the white people might have a different motive, right? But what was the motive of the black friends? What was the motive of the people, the black folks who were hanging out with her, right? Hey, TikTok, how you doing? Is that no cap? Okay, hey, how y'all doing over here on TikTok? Okay, hey, Money Man, hey, Ali Raza, shout out to you guys. Okay, so I'm curious about the frenemy factor, right? I'm curious about the whole Eddie, whatever his last name is. Eddie, let's just call him Eddie, not your friend. That's going to be his last name. His first name is Eddie, but his last name is not your friend. Because how are you a teenager? I heard what you said last night, Freezy. Freezy said, Freezy, I'm just listening to, I listen to y'all. I put on y'all show so y'all can get the engagement. I know that's important to have me here, have your show on my computer. So I'll have you guys pulled up and I'll go lay down, y'all. I will go to lay down, watch me something on TV, listen, kind of be listening until something catches my attention. Because after a while, certain people talking, it's just like Charlie Brown's teacher. So, but Freezy did say something last night that was like, why, how is you 17, 18 years old, teenager in 2026 with the like, let me get my Takara on, not period, right? You in 2026, you are a teenager, a young adult, and you're gonna pull out your camera and don't record nothing. Turns out I really believe Eddie got footage. I really believe they might have gave him some coin. I think somebody gave him some coin, right? Gave him some coin, and uh and he got his footage somewhere. Because I mean, this in this day and age, I be feeling like it's hard to get rid of um something documentation like that, right? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying. So we even had like, so even going back to the Kanika Jenkins, there was footage on footage. We folks had their cell phones, but I don't remember us bringing up the whole cell phone footage situation more so than the hotels, closed circuit television footage situation. And even after that, we dived into another case where somebody was getting snatched up, right? And then it's so crazy because this is like, to me, it's similar to other cases. But I know the defense was bad, y'all. We're not gonna y'all. It's like a redundant circular conversation that we know the defense was bad. Why are we arguing what the defense would have done? All these Monday day night quarterback and lawyers who want to be out here. If I was an attorney, we know this. Y'all can look up the same stuff we can look up. So we all Googled at the same time and we all sit here and know it. That's why I be getting my little Takara bag like, period, like what? Because now what? Now that you know this is how you would have handled the case. Tell me, are you sending GoFundMe money to help get them a new lawyer? Are any of you lawyers out there trying to be like, let me just jump on this because it's the high profile or the visibility or just to add it to my repertoire, pew pew and knocking niggas out legally, you know? And then again, like I said, I'm looking at what the hell, how are so many people out here with these cameras and out of all the situations, we done seen folks on a boat across the river down in wherever it was it Mississippi, Louisiana, wherever it was at. We done seen folks on a boat recording someone across the water getting their butt kicked and throwing chairs. But we can't seem to find no footage of nobody that was there, especially Eddie. So I think like when I be thinking like stuff is in the clouds and how stuff is like it's closed circuit. You don't know what the hell camera recorded this. There's cameras on the street signs now. On the traffic signals now. So at the end of the day, I don't believe there's not no footage out there. That's what I'm gonna say that about this case. I don't believe that there is not the footage. I believe the footage is out there and we just don't know where it is and who got it. But then I wanted to look at the frenemy again. I'm not gonna stop this frenemy factor because I'm just trying to understand how y'all grown adults is gonna sit here and listen to this young boy sit here and tell y'all after you view your grown eyes look at a picture of him and his little young self with his grandma and with this other person with Carmelo at different ages and different stages, different days. It ain't even like it was yesterday and you had doctored up the footage or you did a AI video of AI picture. This was a picture from last 2, 3, 4 Christmases ago, and a picture when your grandma was alive type of shit. Like your grandma was alive, and you got a picture of you and me and him and her and my cousins and whoever. And then for this boy, I know y'all, I know for this boy to sit up here and be like, I don't really know him like that. We know that, I mean, to sit here and be like, oh, they're kids. No, they kids, but they're not stupid kids, right? Hey, my no cynical one. Um, Cellulite, I need to know, do you know if the shiesties are men or women? Because I be saying sugars to everybody just to be on the safe side, but is the shiesties, the shiesty bum, the sugar bums, are they men's or women's? Men's or women's? I ain't willing to win. Thanks for coming by. Um, so yeah, so like I'm just curious. Okay, I'm curious to know that too. I'm just curious to see, like, in real life, like, how, first of all, again, I know it sounds like an ADD conversation, but how are you a 17, 18-year-old boy in today's world, and you fake like you're recording or play like you're recording? I get that you could have been, but I really feel like Eddie was for the other team. I feel like we don't know who Eddie is. We're going to find out who Eddie is because other people are going to they talk about the dynamic of their relationship. I think as folks start to realize the damage that they've done, I think they're gonna come out and they're gonna say what they mean to say, what they meant to say. Um, hey, no chaser sugars, how you doing? Hey, like, how you doing? Like, period. Hike, how you doing? Like, how you doing? That's my imitation of Takara, the comedian. Like, how you doing? Um, like I said, y'all, this ain't gonna be a very long live. I don't know if I was gonna be up here for an hour, 2 hours. I ain't know. So I wanted to first address the frenemy situation, because I know Cellulite has a lot of information. You guys are first of all, everyone shout out to Cellulite podcast and his beautiful Wi-Fi. He got the best Wi-Fi in town, right? His beautiful Wi-Fi, Mind Chaos Brew, who is together, they are the president and the vice president of the Receiptosphere, in my mind. So y'all want to know anything? You want to know anything? You want to know anything? I think they are the new Encyclopedia Britannica. Okay. The new Encyclopedia. You are the Encyclopedia and the raw B of Britannica, the raw Britannicas. The new, okay, wait, let me get it because now I done thought about it in my head. Now I got to get it. Okay. He is the Cellulitopedica and she is the raw Britannica. So that's it's Cellulitopedica Britannica. I'm sorry. I cracked myself up, which is probably not a healthy. This Cellulitopedica raw Britannica. Remember, we had Encyclopedia Britannicas. Well, they know everything about everything. And if they don't know, they're going to find out. So they're just literally like, say, encyclopedias. human encyclopedias, human Dewey Decimal Systems. They are literally a human library. And then two minds are always greater than one. And we only supposed to be using 10% of our brain. That's 20% of power there, right? That's sugar. So laughter is healthy. I crack myself up, no chaser. I crack myself up. Listen, by myself, and I will be by myself, and I will make myself laugh all day. Okay. So back to this real quick before we shift gears. And then I might go ahead and dip out so I can pop up on some other panels with my bad camera. Right. Again, welcome to Michigan, and it's hazy weather out here. Me and my dog have allergies. So yeah, so the frenemy situation, the whole bad apple. Again, his name is Eddie, not your friend, right? Because he was not your friend. Him being a teenager, 17 in this day and age, not even recording. But again, I think the footage is in the cloud somewhere. I think he got it. I think someone gave him a good coin and said, "Hey, listen, you give us that footage, and you can keep this coin." Okay. And I think it's enough coin because I feel like for anyone who doesn't have much or doesn't have, feels like they don't have much, they are probably anything is better than nothing, right? So I feel like I'm believing, I feel like that they gave him something, they gave him or his family something to where they made it, they went the direction they went, right? Um, I also believe again what Freezy said. There's no way you are this age at this time and this at this age. Hello, Holly Castillo. There is no way you are this age and you didn't record anything. You're gonna pull out your phone for fake. Because these kids, like I said, that whole situation down in the bayou where they threw the chair at the security officer. Um, they're over there fighting, knocking white folks into the water. Folks is recording from way across the river. Um, People are pulling up video footage of dogs being left outside for the weekend type of thing. So everything is being recorded. But again, I don't know. Like I said, we got cameras on the phone poles, cameras on the light fixtures, cameras on the intersections, stuff like that. So I'm not hey sugar, hey willing to win. I'm not too putting it past that information is out there and that someone gave him enough of something to be enough of quiet about it. That's just how I feel about that. But again, going back to this, the frenemy situation in my mind, this is Genesis and her crazy thinking, right? I'm over here at the wall. While I'm sitting at the wall, I get to think, y'all. Here go the wall right here, right? There go the wall. And I get to think. I be thinking, thinking, thinking. I've been thinking. I've been thinking. That was me knocking on the wall, baby. That's not but nobody. He on security. Thank you, sugar. Thank you, my baby. He was like, let me go check the door real quick. Let me go let whoever out there know we not in here for it. Um, so yeah, the whole friend of me situation. Let's get back to that so I can be at least consistent and make me a good clip out of this. So, okay, so going back to the Kanika Jenkins, we remember Kanika. I can let me pull up another video about me when I was talking about the Kanika, right? Um, there was so many details that we had to dissect and break down and who was doing what. And that whole thing was based around some folks that didn't really have no good intentions for her, right? We can go all the way up to Shanquella Robinson. And why I keep saying her name so much is because that's the only other name that I can remember, right? And I kept saying I'm going to look up the other girl because there was another young lady who also was lured in by her friends. And then, oh my God, what was the girl's name who was deleted by her friends that all beat her up and they um um sexually assaulted her and they dragged her outside and they ended up deleting her, right? Remember that one? That was another friend of me situation, right? That was another situation of someone who you thought was your friend, who you think it has your back, who is in your face this whole time and being with you, being around you, hanging out with you. Come on, Eddie. Eddie, I got pictures of me and your grandma, and especially if grandma's gone. What do you mean? Who took a picture with me or grandmother? How did you AI that? I don't know, y'all. Let's see. Who was this? Um. All right, let me spell it right. Right. IENDS's. All right. So then there's this whole. We don't even know what other triggers and what other factors are involved, but we do know that there's someone who has this footage. I'm believing that. That's gonna be the end of that for me. Let's see. All right, so looking at it in real reason, why teens let me see. Let me see. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, y'all. Because I told y'all I was about to look it up and And I know, yes, okay. I'm not saying that it's a black and white thing, okay? So, because I did look it up and I'm finding a lot of black girls. I'm finding a lot of situations with black girls. Okay, but there are situations with black boys. But damn, what is that girl's name? That chick's name. Oh my God, I'm gonna hate myself that I cannot remember her name right now. I'm going to hate myself about it because she was all over the news as well. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the Kanika Jenkins story. We're gonna go back to what I was saying with the Kanika Jenkins situation. Um, while I look this up, um, hold on, let me turn my background music on. Why does it think that I'm asking that question? That's crazy. That's crazy in real life. Yeah, that's super crazy. It keeps giving me this other detail. It did that before when I looked it up, and I was like, why does it defaults to, and I'm asking about black women who have been, okay. All right. So there she is. All right. So, um, oh, is it really? Okay. She's 13, you guys, and this actually happened in Houston. A 13-year-old Texas girl deleted after slipping into a coma following a fight with with two teens who jumped her as she walked home from school, including one assailant who kicked her in the head, the girl's mother said. Let's go to the video and then I'm gonna show y'all if this is the same girl. Um, why can I find that video of that young girl? Oh wait, bullying on camera. And there's another one. Is this the one where her friends attacked her too? I just was looking for it. I wasn't really trying to. Okay, here's the Shanquella Robinson situation, but that one keeps coming up. There was another young girl who, um, there was another young girl who, this one in North Carolina. That's crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this up in a few minutes. Because I do know it defaults back to Shanquella Robinson a lot. So if you guys are trying to look up information, it's going to default. It keeps defaulting me back to Shanquella Robinson. Is my music playing? Okay. Okay, so yeah, so here is the 13-year-old girl who passed after being jumped. Okay, in which I was wondering why wasn't this brought into, I mean, they're going to bring stuff into the case how they want to bring stuff into, right? So I was just like, okay, so this is again another frenemy situation. ABC News, shout out to you guys. ABC News, it's got a nice commercial right there. 13-year-old Houston girl dies after being jumped by classmates while walking home from school. Um, I don't know if it's a video, guys, but that's a commercial right there. So I hope you guys can see my screen. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so remember this Texas girl who died after slipping into a coma following a fight with two teens. So how many people did they say officially was supposed to be jumping Carmelo, right? And if what they said was anything close to the real thing, right? I think this is that's the video. If they say any of this is close to the truth, then he said, and other people, I guess he said, hey, Christopher J, he said that hey, Mike Bonner, he said that he interacted with first one twin, the one that's alive, and then later interacted with the other twin who's not here. So that's two people. And I do believe there's that footage that we only could see in the court that the public is not allowed to see. I do believe that footage shows what he said, that Carmelo's sitting on the bleachers and Austin and what's the other boy's name walked up to him. So that's two people. So two people addressed Austin, two people addressed this young little girl. Let's see, including one of the assailants kicking her in the head, said the girl's mother, right? Kalisha Francis, a student at Attucks Middle School in Houston, died on that Wednesday, right? Shortly after at Texas Children's Hospital. The doctors discovered a tumor in the back of her head that may have been exacerbated by the fight. So again, here's another situation where the medical condition is incorporated in part of the reason or part of the understanding what happened. Just like with Carmelo, him having epilepsy, and we can go into the epilepsy website and look at the triggers, but thanks to Ticket TV, he did that for us. So go over to Ticket TV, shout out to him, and review the video he did just yesterday about the whole epileptic world. And you can go to the epilepticseizurewebsite.com and look it up for yourself. So of course, while he's talking, good old Jen, she's gonna go and Google and look and see if he's talking about what he's talking about. And lo and behold, guess what one of the triggers are for epilepsy? Physical confrontation. Not physical activity, not a physical just being excited and happy at the circus, happy at a carnival, turn up, my team won. Because how is it he's able to run track and work out and do what he's doing? Because exercise rarely triggers an epileptic seizure. It actually helps them because it helps them breathe and control themselves so that when they begin to hyperventilate, which can take them into an epileptic seizure, they won't go into epileptic seizure. They can learn how to control themselves, right? So it's just interesting that there was a physical condition with this young lady that was triggered by this fight, right? But it remains unclear and the pending autopsy of the injuries from the fight caused Kalisha's death. So, or if she died as a result of the tumor, the police said. Of course they're going to say that, right? Look at her. She's a cute little girl. She is 13, okay? Carmelo was 17 at the time. He's not much older than her, right? She was fighting. This is what they told us to do. Don't go get a weapon. I showed y'all my knife earlier that is as big as my pinky finger, and the blade is as big as my pinky finger, right? If my pinky finger, if we say that your pinky finger is 3.5 inches or constitutes as 3.5 inches, the blade is as long as your pinky finger, right? So I get that part. I get why you would need some help if you already know that you have something going on with you, right? But look at this young girl. She could have had, the tumor could have never had been exacerbated. Nothing could have happened to her, and she could have grown up and graduated just to be a perfectly fine young lady. But she couldn't because she was fisticuffing. And what's crazy to me is that this is what we said. Oh, why he just didn't fight? Why he just didn't put his hands up and fight? Well, again, we see there has been situations as soon as they started talking about it, like about what, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, however long ago it was, recently, it came back up. I was just like, what happened to the little girl? And then to find out, I just read that she was in Houston. So it's Texas law, right? Remember, it's Texas law. It's Texas law. Remember, it's Texas law. They're different. Okay, well, this is in Houston. And what happened to the people who did this to her? Did they get in trouble and go? Are they in jail for murder? Are they in jail for red rumming her? All right, so let's see. Victor Skintles, a spokesman for the Houston Police Department, said the incident being investigated as a homicide pending the autopsy to determine the case of death. Until the autopsy is finished, we won't know. That's what he said. Okay. He said no arrests have been made. Okay, so at the time this young girl got beat up, there was no arrest. Even though the girls who said they beat her up, right? Just like Carmelo said, he did stab the boy. So I'm sick of y'all arguing about, hey, I told y'all Carmelo was guilty. We ain't never said he wasn't guilty of actually doing that to the young boy. We saying that he don't deserve no 35 years, especially when another little boy in the same state, remember Texas law, in the same state, completely premeditated, completely set out to go find this little boy, said, I'll meet you at 3 o'clock on the playground. And then met him at 3 o'clock on the playground, and that boy got a little slap on the hand. They said, oh, don't do it again, because you're going to get involved with negligent manslaughter. You didn't mean to do it. No, he had a whole intent plan. Carmelo never meant to do it, which is crazy to me, right? But this boy had a whole intended plan, and never once did they say, oh, he got to go to jail for 35 years because he wanted to do this. And here you got an accidental, and he gets 35 years. No question. Just saying. So at the time of this young girl's case, right? At the time of the young girl's case, so let's go back and let's make sure we say her name. Her name is Kashala Francis. Kashala Francis. Let me write that down, y'all, because I think this is so. I feel like it's important. Let's write her name down and spell it right, okay? Kashala Francis, who was 13 at the time, and she went to Attucks, Attuks Middle School in Houston, Texas. In Houston, Texas. Okay, so that's a detail, right? So Kashala Francis was 13. Kashala Francis was throwing fisticuffs. All the stuff that we said we wanted Carmelo to do. Why he didn't fight? Why he didn't punch? We discovered yesterday that Carmelo can't fight. Not that he ain't got no hands, but he can't fight. He has epilepsy. If he fights, he will have an epileptic seizure. It takes one knock to the head for him to go into a seizure. But guess what? Hold on. The thicker it gets thicker, y'all. Okay. So let's get back to the Kashala Francis, because I didn't even know her name fully until now, and I apologize for not knowing her name. But this case brought attention to me. Came to my attention because I was like, well, okay, so he put down the knife and he fought, and so say he didn't make it out of that. It seems like somebody said this earlier too. It seems like y'all would be happier that he fought and lost his life than to actually fight to keep his life. Right? Y'all would have been okay. Y'all would have been flowers bringing and slow songs singing to him because he put his dukes up, but he lost his life because he had an epileptic seizure during the fight, right? Because he had an epileptic seizure right in the cruiser on the way to the jail. So here's this poor baby right here, Kashala Francis, because we're going to say her name. Threw up her fist and was trying to be like what her mama said. Don't let nobody whoop your ass. Don't let nobody beat up on you. You protect yourself. You defend yourself. You have the right. This is Texas. You got to stand your ground. You can say, hey, I'm not finna let y'all beat up on me as I walk home from school. Look at this little baby. This is how I was built when I was 13. I was little. Okay. So at the time that all this was going on, there were no arrests made, right? The officer said there were no arrests made and declined to release any further details at the time this was happening, right? He could see He said, I could see, wait, he didn't say this, but someone said, I could see the girls kicking her in the head while other children are laughing at her. Whoever Jackson is. Who is Jackson? Was Jackson not the officer? Officer is essentials. Okay. So Jackson said, oh, so I guess this is a witness. They told KTRK of the video of a video surfaced of her daughter. Oh, that's her mama. Of her daughter being punched and kicked. In the video, at the last one of the girls fighting with Kalisha can be heard laughing. So now, again, back to Eddie. So there was people out there recording this, laughing, ha ha, bitch, get your ass, all that, right? But for some reason, Eddie was pretending to record, right? He was pretending to record. He was like, psych. Here go a picture of her and her mama, and she was a cute little thing. All right, so Houston Independent School District officials released a statement saying that they were aware of the off-campus altercation and cooperating with Houston's police department in this investigation. Kashala's death follows a similar incident, Waterboro, South Carolina, where a 10-year-old fifth grader, Renaya Wright, died on March 27th after a fight with a classmate. So look at how this case just brought me to another case, right? This case brought me to another case, saying that there was another person. South Carolina's solicitor declined to file charges because a forensic pathologist determined that Renaya had a rare birth defect, arteriovenous malfunctions that caused her death. So even in this girl's situation, right, she had a tumor that was set off by the fight. But then here's this situation about Rania, right? Let's write her name down. Rania Wright, on March 27th, she was 10, a fifth grader. All right, and this was, let me click on this one and see if the article comes up. Nothing happened yet? Okay. Oh, right here. Let me see. Wow. Hold on, y'all. I think it's coming. All right. Okay. So, all right. Let me go back to this one here. Hi, Lions fan. How are you guys? Hi, Real Deal Slime. How are you guys? I'm sorry. I don't even want co-hosts today, but we're going to go back to listen to what this young woman's mama said about what went down with her daughter real quick. Okay. Let me go back over here and I'm going to go and, oh, I didn't do that part. I need to turn my music down a little bit. Okay. Yep. All right. So I'm going to turn my music down a little bit so we can hear what she told her, what she said on this day.
These girls kicking her in her head while other children are laughing at her. I drove over and she told me, I told her, get up, get up. She kept saying, Mama, my head hurt. So she laid down.
Uh-oh. Is it freezing? Is that what happened? Oh, there it goes. There it goes. So what they're display first. All right. All right. So let's go over to this one because this was very much a similar situation, right? The pathologist review. This is the story of the report of Renaya Wright, right? Officials say testing shown that the little girl's death was caused by a birth defect. So I'm showing this. Let me see.
The sweet sound of earning and saving.
I want to get away from that commercial. I'm just going over this because I was curious to find out, again, other situations, other stories that I remember coming into my interview in regards to this Carmelo Anthony situation. So let's just go and read this real quick. The pathologist reviewed that a fifth grader, Renaya Wright's death, revealed that she had a rare defect that caused her death rather than the fight that she was involved within minutes before she became unresponsive. Officials announced that on that Friday. Her mother and attorney still question the role of the teachers and the girls involved in the fight. In South Carolina, solicitor Duffy Stone says that charges will not be filed because a forensic pathologist determined that Wright had an arteriovenous malfunction, AVM, where the arteries and the veins intertwine rather than separated, occasionally rupture. Rania had this condition since birth, the report has showed. So basically, are they going to try to say, well, she got into a fight at school, the girls were beating her and kicking her in her head, and that had nothing to do with why she expired, because she was already sick, right? So Carmelo Anthony was protecting himself so that because he was already sick. He knew he was already sick. Hey, Pastor G, what's going on? And he already knew, hi, Marcus, he already knew that something was going to happen to him, right? Because otherwise he would be one of these cases. He'd be one of these cases of a deleted little young man who also did not expire because of him being attacked, right? So let's just go here. Let me look up. This is what I did yesterday. Okay. So I was listening to again. I was listening to what he said. The doctor said yesterday about what factors can trigger an epileptic seizure. What can make you have an epileptic seizure, right? Why would you be concerned that if something happened, you would be in trouble, right? Why would you be concerned? So let's see. It's one. I think this is it. I'm going to find it for you guys. I don't even know how to put this on TikTok. But hey, let me. All right, so we're going to go into this cute little video. All right, so I'm going to switch over here to this video because I don't want to keep showing, but we're going to make sure that we keep their names in mind, right? They're right. Rania Wright, keep their names in mind. And who is this? Hey, young Riaz, how are you, sugar? Keep their names in mind. Kashala Francis is a 13-year-old girl from Addicts Middle School in Houston, Texas. The Rania Wright is the girl from, is it Louisiana? I forgot. Might have been Louisiana. Let me see real quick so I can make sure. I don't want to misquote where she was from. South Carolina. All right. So let's make sure we keep those facts together for real. Because I don't want to misrepresent by any means. Okay. But let's go over here to that video. I'm gonna show this is one of the videos I saw, but I think this is one of the ones that I remember listening to yesterday because I was looking for like where does it say that what can trigger his epilepsy and why would he be so worried and why would he want to protect itself so hard. So listen to what this guy says.
Chronically short sleep makes the brain more excitable. For many patients, one bad night, it's enough to lower the seizure threshold. Trigger number 2, missed or late medications. This one is big. Skipping doses, taking them out late, or stopping suddenly can lead to seizure breakthroughs.
All right, so number 2, let's go back real quick. Let me make sure we're going to break this down a little bit. We're going to go back. So the first reason for a seizure attack would be sleep deprivation, right? So if Carmelo wasn't getting enough sleep, which he's not getting enough sleep now while he's in prison, his sleep habits are going to be all the way messed up. But then also, what did he just say? Boop, boop, boop. We're going to go right to
more excitable. For many patients, one
2.
bad night, it's enough to lower the seizure threshold.
One bad night is enough to lower the seizure threshold. One bad night of not being able to sleep. So remember when they said, oh no, Carmelo's family has been given death threats and people are coming to the father's job to address him and to harass him, right? So that also can trigger a seizure for Carmelo because he would be worried about what's going on and what's going on around him, right? That could trigger a seizure for him. So what's number 2?
Sure. Trigger number 2, missed or late medications. This one.
Trigger number 2 is missed or late medications. So didn't the father say that they had to go to the prison to take him his medication? And all this money that we pay in taxes can't get him his medication in prison, so the family had to bring it. At the same time, him missing a dose or being late also would trigger. Probably needed a dose in between the last one he took and that car ride to the jail, right? Because he had a whole seizure. Are the officers trained in dealing with this, correctly? Because apparently a seizure can't go on that long.
Is big. Skipping doses, taking them out late, or stopping suddenly can lead to seizure breakthroughs. If you are on anti-seizure medications, consistency is everything. Trigger number 3, illness and fever, viral infection.
Trigger number 3 to set off a seizure is illness and fever, right? Remember people have the C-19. He can't catch a cold. He has to be in much better health, right? He can't just be out here having a fever. They were already outside in the rain. He was under if you look into the fact that he has a condition, it gives you, I don't want to do this, whatever this is. Oh, okay. Oh, let me see. Oh, okay, there. Oh, I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to do that. That's funny. So if it makes sense on why he was so protective and why he was so on guard, especially if he knows his condition and what is going on with him, right? The infections, a fever, he's already out in the rain. He's trying to stay out from being wet because if he knows his condition, he knows that a fever or an infection can make him have an attack.
Dehydration, not eating or drinking in time, especially having a high fever, can cluster together and lead to seizures. The body is stressed and so is the brain. Trigger number 4, alcohol and substances. Heavy drinking, binging, or withdrawal.
Trigger number 4 is alcohol and substances. So people who are subject to seizures, they can't drink and take any type of anything, legal or not, right? They're not supposed to be engaging in that for the sake that the seizure can be induced, right? They can have a problem.
Can all provoke seizures, even in people who have never had one before, and especially in people with epilepsy. Trigger number 5, stress and hormonal changes.
Trigger number 5, stress and hormonal changes. Was this situation stressful? Was this situation stressful? Hey, Sherelle, how are you, sugar? Was this situation stressful for Carmelo? Listen, so far, the only thing that we have seen that was out of the 5 things that can trigger a seizure, there was only one that he didn't have to deal with, which we don't know. But according to right now, there's 5 things that can trigger a seizure, and so far he has had all of them.
Life stress, burnout, or hormonal shifts around periods can change seizure patterns. It doesn't mean it's all in your head. It is just biology. Trigger number 6, flashing lights. Yes, photosensitivity exists.
Flashing lights is the last trigger for seizures. Photosensitivity, overstimulation, going into places where there's like, sirens and lights and all this crazy stuff can also, hey, 18th letter, hey, sugar. I'm actually live on YouTube. That's why you can't see the video. So 18th letter, if you want to come on over to the YouTube side, I'm over here. But yeah, like the flashing lights, going into places with all the big, sounds and hoops and like probably like carnivals and circuses and stuff like that are also trigger the seizure, right? So we're going back to the fact that there is 5 so far. We're 4 of the reasons out of the 5, 4 of the reasons can trigger Carmelo a seizure in his body. All right.
But it's a small minority of people with epilepsy, not most. TikTok dramatically overrepresents this one. A trigger is not a cause. It doesn't mean someone caused their epilepsy. It is just that the trigger nudged the brain closer to the edge. You or someone you love has seizures, start a trigger diary. Check on sleep, medication, stress, illness, alcohol. All these patterns matter because they will help you better. Take care of your brain. It's the only one you got, and follow for more.
Cool beans. So what you guys didn't hear it on TikTok, but what he just said is that the seizure is not the trigger. He said, no, these things that he said that he gave us are not the triggers. Not the reasons, the causes of the seizure. The cause of the seizure is the fact that he's already got the neurological dysfunction, right? However, having these things happen, being stressed out, physical activity, sleep deprivation, not eating and drinking right, watching light strobing TV. Yeah, that can also trigger the seizure, right? Like letting your TV go off and that screen come on where it's like really weird and and you're watching that, or those crazy lights. Even a carnival or a circus, I think, too, would also trigger a seizure for some people. But it's just interesting that when we talked about the Carmelo Anthony situation, his medical records were submitted for review, but not considered as to why he would be so protective. Why would he, the average person is going to want to protect their life because it's either going to be me or you. However, why was he so protective? Why was that such a big deal? Because of his epilepsy and him knowing that he can lose his life in just a fight. So Carmelo couldn't fight. Not that he didn't have hands, y'all. Not that he couldn't throw a punch or whoop someone's ass. He could not fight because he physically cannot exert all that energy into and be so stressed out and be so upset and wound up. He'll give himself an epileptic seizure trying to get ready to fight someone. All that extra, I'll beat your ass, you ain't all that extra stuff going that you got to bravado, all that big peacocking you got to put up. All that energy can make him have a seizure. That's what I wanted to point out with that as well. The Board of Epilepsy stated that the number 1 trigger for a seizure is physical confrontation. Okay, a hit to the head, a simple hit to the head, a bop to the crown, and it didn't matter. If you guys go look it up on the Board of Epilepsy's website, it doesn't matter where you get hit in the head. What happens is that your brain, the seizure, let's say the seizure is all the way to the left of your brain, where that area is. So that area, your brain kind of sits in the middle of your head, your skull. It floats. So it doesn't touch any side, right? It's floating. I.e., when you have a concussion, your brain is actually pressed up against the wall of your your skull, right? When that happens, that's where you get the concussion from. Some people say that also from the lack of the fluid in your neck, where your brain sits on your spinal cap, on your spinal top, right? It sits on that little cap right there, and then I think it's like your skull, and then sometimes that can also cause like headaches and like migraines and things like that. But they say, however, we know that the brain is floating, and that on certain parts of the hemispheres of the brain, there are things. There might be a tumor, there could be a hematoma, but because you're just going through your life and you control yourself and you keep yourself calm and make yourself zen as possible, your brain never gets to touch those parts of your skull where those other things are residually sitting and hanging out, right? So the seizure can be all the way over here in your left part of your brain, I guess. The seizure can be all the way in this part of the hemisphere of your brain and never be bothered, because you never have a shake to the head, or you never have a pop to the head. You never hit yourself. You never do anything, right? You're just calm and peaceful, and you just kind of just keep life going. And then one day you get into a fight and someone knocks you in the head. Well, now what it did was it knocked the brain into that area. It put it closer to where the seizure is, or it brought the seizure, the swelling can bring it closer to now it's affecting you where it wasn't even, So that's why I thought about the other cases with the girl that I now know her name, Kashala Francis. With Kashala Francis, they're also trying to say that there was something else there, right? She had the tumor. The tumor was fine. She probably would have lived her life just fine, which is crazy, right? And nothing would have happened to her if she had never gotten to this fight. And I'm not saying her mama could have not done anything about it or could have done something about it. But most likely when we know, we go tell our parents that nothing happens. There's nothing to be done. Our parents are just angry about the situation. And they can't, some parents have no power in the system whatsoever to even put a foot down. And then going into this other little girl, I knew there was another little girl. I'm going to find that other story about the frenemy situation with the young girl who was getting beat up. That wasn't Shanquilla Robinson. It wasn't Shanquilla Robinson, but it was another young lady. But then now we find Brenaya Wright, who was a 5th grader, who also was jumped by school kids, of her own peers. And she also, again, this was in South Carolina. So for the sake of the conversation that we're having today, Kashala, who had the tumor, was in Texas. Texas law says what it says for whatever reason that we're leaning into it because of this situation. But Renaya Wright was in South Carolina. She also had a quote unquote condition that did not quote unquote kill her, right? She had AVM, right? Which was that neurological, I think, right? So she also had something wrong with her that the hospital said, hey, in Renaya's situation, there were no arrests. In Kashala Francis' situation, at the time that this happened, based on the autopsy, there were no arrests. These kids are not getting in trouble for beating these girls up. So which makes me wonder too, so what if Carmelo did go tell? What was going to happen? They was going to beat him up, and then the teachers were going to, or the instructors or the coaches, whoever there was going to have to try to break it up, right? Well, here's a fun fact about that. While they are jumping on Carmelo and beating him up, and he's in this physical confrontation, say he had a seizure. Say he started having a seizure in the fight. And the Austin and the Hunter, that's his name, Hunter back up, everybody backs up, and here go Carmelo on the ground having a whole epileptic seizure. Say that happened, right? Guess what? Do you think Austin and Hunter was going to perform CPR on Carmelo if they had been up there beating him up? Say Carmelo fisticuffed it and didn't pull out his knife and didn't go in his backpack or none of that touch me or else conversation. Say none of that happened and he just fisticuffed it out, and they're beating him up because it's 2 against 1. They outweigh him by a good 80, 90 pounds, and they beating him up, right? And he goes into an epileptic seizure. A seizure for 5 minutes while everyone's figuring out what to damn do about this black boy fishing around on the ground, right? A seizure for 5 minutes, it takes 5 minutes. There's a possibility that the brain cannot recover. right? That's the medical. That's what the seizure, the Board of Epilepsy has stated that Carmelo had went into an epileptic seizure and he was on the ground fishing around, fighting for his life that way. While do we think that um do we think that Austin and Hunter was going to perform CPR? Right? Do we think that Austin and Hunter was going to help him while he was down there having problems? No, I don't think so. So then that 5 minutes of him having a seizure would have taken the time that it would have taken for everyone to come to his rescue. And then he's having a seizure, which most of the time I've seen seizures happen. Seizures have happened in my restaurants. I've had employees and guests that have had seizures. My boss had a seizure. She had a seizure and completely passed out, right on the middle of the floor, in the middle of bagging a customer's food. Everything just went on the ground. And her having that seizure, one was alarming to the fact that she's got to take care of herself and the stress, right? She's my boss. However, it lasting as long as it did, the first thing that, while we had to leave her there. We had to leave her there on top of the fact that she hit her head. So when the seizure happened, there wasn't a precursor to it happening. It simply started happening and she went flat on the ground. She turned into a complete board, right? She was stiff as a board. She was very hard to move. She was on the ground and she planked her body and fell straight to back, right? She planked her body. Okay, you guys have an imagination. She planked her body completely went stiff. And as she went from standing up to it completely tipped over. Her knees did not buckle. There was no arm put down to brace her fall. She completely fell over like a board, right? She hit the ground so hard. Her head hit the ground so hard. It was scary. It was just a loud boom that went through the whole restaurant. The customers, there were some people that were horrible, right? The customers are like, yeah, but can I still get my food? Yeah, no. I wouldn't want my food after seeing that happen. And I probably would be like, thank you, I'm going somewhere else, just because this is about to be a whole situation, right? But when she was having the seizure itself, she was fishing and convulsing, and it lasted a few minutes, right? However, we were so concerned. Hi, Talk of Fame. How are you, Sugar? We were so concerned about her seizing, and it's almost as if nobody knew what to do. And I'm just saying, at that time, nobody knew what to do. I don't know if panic set in. I don't know if, all of us other managers, we're trained in CPR. You're supposed to be trained as a manager. You're supposed to be like ready to make sure you remember all the steps that you need to do in the midst of the chaos. And you're supposed to be able to just jump in and help in the midst of your own stressing out moment. So I did remember someone grabbed I turned around. She was already on the ground. I knew that we could not touch her because she was in the convulsion portion of the seizure. I do know that I remember the whole biting your tongue and choking on your tongue. And that if you put your fingers in that person's mouth unconsciously, they're going to bite down on you because of them, the seizure, how it can hurt, and then the pulsing and what's going on with their body. So I do remember someone saying, like, we got to put something under her head. And I was like, oh, of course, I fall asleep to watching murder mysteries and like whodunits and Criminal Minds and all that stuff, and Chicago Med. I love those shows. So of course I'm thinking like, oh, right, we have to put something under their head, make sure that she stops, she's fishing around. She's already laying between restaurant equipment, right? She's between a fryer and an oven and a grill, and it's a lot that could be dangerous if she flips around and hits something that can trigger something else. So Hey, Ari Roach, how are you? Hey, Anya O. So we were just trying to contain her so that nothing else around her would be aggravated or, you know, so that she won't touch by default by, touching the hot stove, making sure that everything was out of the way. And of course they start so salivating, their mouth starts salivating. And she once the seizure was over, we had to, of course, by then, by then we actually have in most restaurants, you guys do know the most restaurants have a silent alarm, which is not only supposed to be used if you're being robbed, it's also to call the police in the instance that something's happening. When you almost cannot get to the phone, right? In the event that you're not able to get to the phone. I've always used it for that. And I always train my managers to know that if you cannot get to the phone, all right, or say the cell phone wasn't, the cordless phone is not charged, they want you to call from the cordless phone that's in the building, primarily because all the information comes up on the caller ID and it helps the police officers get information. And oftentimes the 911 officer will say, hey, are you calling from this number? I see the numbers you're calling from. I'm going to ping your call so we can find you and that whole thing, right? So in that regard, we couldn't get, I said, if you cannot get to the store phone, not Shazam is coming on, y'all. Is this the real Shazam that's coming on, y'all? With Shaquille O'Neal or with Sinbad? Because I remember both. Okay? Try to mind screw me if you want to. I remember both. Let's see. I want to see the credits so I can see what it is. So I always train my managers to say, hey, in case you cannot get to the store phone, and most of us carry our cell phones on us, hurry up and call 911. And in the event that you cannot do all that, and you're like, man, you're just too crazy and you don't know what to do, go and hit that silent alarm. Everyone knows the silent alarms in the restaurants are usually like around the registers. They're also there's usually one in the cooler. And how you know is that your delivery guy usually trips it. Well, he'll not say usually, but he can trip it, right? By bringing in product and they end up hitting that silent alarm that's in your cooler. So for all your folks who work in restaurants, all you folks that work in the restaurant, that's kind of that whole thing, right? The silent alarm, you should be able to hit that silent alarm and it will alert the police and it will bring on the police and they're going to call you on your phone. They're going to call the store phone and then you'll find the store phone because they're going to call the store phone and they're going to say, this is the such and such police. What do you need? X, Y, and Z. And you let them know, hey, someone is, having a seizure. So as my boss was having her seizure, it was just like, the fact that they were concerned about how long the seizure was going on, right? How long was she down there? How long was she down there? How long was she in the moment? No, he gonna take his food. Now, how long was she going through that process? Because what we learned, long story short, what we learned was that the seizure existing for 5 minutes, which seems like not very long, but in 5 minutes, it flew by so fast. The seizure existing for 5 minutes will cause severe brain damage, can cause a bunch of other damages, can cause a bunch of other things to happen like neurological issues, and can even put that person into a vegetative state or a catatonic state for the rest of their lives. So interestingly enough, my boss got up from her seizure. She was unconscious. She didn't get up from it, but she was unconscious. She got up from the seizure. I'm not saying she got up from it. I keep saying that she got up. She got over the seizure, I guess, by the medical people that oh shoot, why is this happening? She got taken care of in the hospital by the medical people, by the medical advisors, by the doctors. she was taken to the hospital. She was taken care of there. She got dressed there. She was still unconscious when she left. She was still in that state when she left. So I can imagine the concern for everything that she has to do to make sure that she doesn't get too stressed out, to make sure that she doesn't feel like, life is just lifing on her, and that she probably has to do a whole lot to make sure that she stays calm and peaceful. So that made me think about poor little Carmelo and how he was really more so really protecting his life, which was crazy, right? I don't know how to do these little fruits and things that are up here. I don't know how to do that. Hi, twin. I wish I knew. I could play with y'all. I don't know how to play with y'all. Hey, shout out to Alicia for getting the #1 viewer. Hey, the other 2/5. Hey, Sherelle. Hey, the other 2/5. Hey, y'all. JWTD. Hey, you. What's up, sugars? So that just made me think about the dynamic of why he was fighting so hard to stay peaceful and to stay like, okay, listen, I gotta protect myself no matter what. All right. Then I want to get into this other factor. Let's get back over to the frenemy section. The frenemy section. Again, remember his name is Eddie, not your friend, right? Eddie, not your friend, seems to have video footage. He seemed to have been there watching him. But I think he is just like Shankula Robinson's friends, just like Kashala Francis's friends, just like Kanika Jenkins' friends, were not their friends and wasn't there to be friends with them and wasn't there to hang out with him in that regard. The video footage that they say they have, or they could potentially say they have, I think, like I said, in my honest opinion, I feel like somebody had that footage and somebody got a coin. There was a coin, then there was footage. No, there was footage, then there was a coin, and now there's no footage. Yeah, y'all. So I feel like these cases should have been brought up, of course, in the court situation. They should have been like, yo, we need to look at and attack other situations, other cases that were just like this, especially with the Charlotte Francis situation, and how they can easily say, hey, this is not the reason why she passed. Her tumor was exacerbated from her fighting. You think the tumor was exacerbated because of her fighting? So what do we think that was going to happen with Carmelo? You think they were going to call the ambulance on him? He's going to sit there and watch him fish out into a tumor. I mean, not tumor, into a epileptic seizure. They were going to sit there and watch him basically expire that way. And I promise you, I feel like some of y'all out here will be more happy that he expired from fighting because of the seizure, and then to come back later and be like, oh, that wasn't the reason why, because look at these other 2 cases that are very much like this. Kids getting 13-year-old and a 10-year-old, he's 17. They're all kids fighting at school, and they're going to come and say, oh, that wasn't the reason why he passed in the fight. He wasn't having it was because he had epilepsy. It's because he had epilepsy. He didn't pass because Austin beat him in the head. He didn't pass because Hunter punched him in the gut. He passed because he had epilepsy, not because he was getting his ass whooped. Same thing with Kashala Francis. She passed because she had a tumor, not because she was getting her hair kicked in. Oh my God. So then at the end of the day, where's this reasonable force? Where is this reasonable force? Where is this intent to hurt someone at? At the point where your fist hits my face? Because can't nobody answer that for me. Can't nobody address that. Address when was the imminent danger. Address where was the intent and the force. Because apparently this person intended to come over to me to whoop my ass. And I intended to not let it happen. There go my intent. But I did not intend, even for the boy to ask later, is he okay? The poor child, the poor sugar, and asked the police officers, is the baby okay? Is the Austin baby, Austin Sugars, okay? Even by this was on the body cam footage. So it wasn't even like the officer had time to make that up. Right? This was on the body cam footage when he ran up to the boy. And he like, officer, I know I done stabbed this white man. Officer, is he all right? Come on now. Y'all know Sugars. Y'all know Sugars. Hey, Raj Love. Hey, and not Alaya. Hey, Sierra. Shout out to you guys on TikTok. I'm gonna end my live probably at exactly 2 hours. So I got another 30 minutes. Because I want another video. And then I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna go and I don't know. I might hang out with y'all. I may not. All right. So yeah, that's how I feel about that whole. Until I find some other situations that can offset some of this information, I feel like they gonna do if he had expired his life by fighting, they would have not said it was because of Austin and Hunter beating him up. They was gonna say it because he had epilepsy. Right? The same way they did these other two young ladies. And again, I'm going to find there was another girl that was getting jumped on by her frenemies, by her eddies that ain't your friends. And that girl also was deleted. I forgot her name. And it was like so in the middle of all this Shanquella Robinson, all in the middle of this, right? There's so many different situations that happen from someone being misled. And I feel like the Eddie that ain't your friend, there was something up with that Sugars. Because she should not been on the opposite team when all this was going down. Hey Brandy and Teague, how you doing, Sugars? Thanks for coming over. Thanks for coming in and saying hi and watching and joining. All right. Right now we're debating the case of the student's death, exploring epilepsy versus force. Right? Epilepsy versus force. Hold on. What did I say? Epilepsy versus force. All right. I like that question. I mean, I like that recap. Thank you. All right. So, hey, everybody. Hassan. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to my YouTube favorites over here. Shout out to Ria, Cynical One, No Chaser. You guys are so nice to sit here and hang out with me because I know there are other YouTubers in the space that are on right now. And I think that thank y'all for coming over and hanging out with me and showing up, okay? All right, so I wanted to also get into some other stuff. Let me see. I cannot go on the panel with you, Sugar. That is an absolute and a no-no. That is an absolute no and to the no, okay? Yeah, y'all, because there's certain panels I don't go to because I just don't rock with the people on the panel, and I can't not rock with that. I cannot rock with them. Okay? I can't. I tried, but I can't. Okay. Let me go back to myself. So, that's pretty much where I was at with the Carmelo. I'm still curious about those aspects. I'm still concerned about some of the details. And I think that over time things are gonna come out that follow. Let me make sure y'all go follow. Oh shoot, what was his name? Hold on. I gotta go to it. But hey guys, Humble Warrior. Hey Nate Glizzy, shout out to you guys. I found a new content. Well, he's not a new content creator, but a content creator who does court. Hey Sugars, who does court reviews, right? So he goes into the court cases. He did the P Diddy case, he goes into court cases. I just subbed to him yesterday. And he goes into court cases, and all he does is review court cases, and then he comes back and then he does his whole show about it, right? Let me tell y'all his page real quick. What is it? What was it called? What the heck was his page called? I just subbed to him. Shout out to Ticket TV for his breakdown on the epilepsy. What was this guy's page? I just subbed to him yesterday. It was called, hold on. Is it? Hold on, let me see. Shout out to the What Up Doe podcast too. You guys have been really kicking butt. Shout out to What Up Doe podcast. I think you guys have really been kicking butts as well. Thank God for you guys. Okay, found it. Okay, that's what it was. It's called Watching the World 777. I'm going to post his there we go. Let me see. There we go. Copy. I'm going to post his link in my Hey, hello, what's up to Lighthouse? What's up to Smitty? I'm gonna post his link, his page, the link to his channel in my chat. Okay, so let me go back to it because this is what I really wanted to say about it. Okay, so like this one here, Watching the World 777 showed up on our lovely SBG's panel a couple of days ago, and gave a good breakdown in detail of some of the things that was going on. And of course, because they're in the courtroom, he said he's sitting behind Carmelo Anthony and he's observing his behavior and watching him, and just observing the case. There was another young person that was up there. I believe it was Queen Sheba. She gave her commentary from also sitting inside of the courtroom as well. Pink is definitely my color. Everything I have is pink. Even y'all can't see it, but the stand that's holding my phone is pink. Even my old beat up earbuds is pink. And you really can't see it here, but my French manicure is pink. But from afar away, it just looks white. The pink is definitely my color. So yeah. Okay, so back to this really quick. He said that while he was in the courtroom, one of the things that he said yesterday, while he was in the courtroom, they are able to see the video. The video, there was no phone footage. There was nobody showing footage from their phone, right? The footage came from the arena's cameras. Remember I said this earlier, and this is very live. I said earlier that there's so many different situations where there was no footage taken by a phone, which I don't believe in 2026. But there's cameras everywhere. Like, y'all, I got a ticket. Once upon a time, I got a ticket, and there was no cops around me. I don't know who saw me run the stop sign. But babies, sugars. When they sent me the ticket, sugar. They had a picture of my car. They had a picture of me in the car and looking. I looked to the left. I looked to the right. I looked. They got the camera picture of me looking like this. Then they had a picture of me, the license plate. Then they had a picture of my car. Babies, my sugars. They had a picture of me coming down the street. They had a picture of me not stopping at the stop sign and turning the corner and then going down that street. They had like 6, 7 pictures of me. Now you mean to tell me Eddie, that ain't your friend, was sitting right there next to Carmelo. Got pictures of him and his grandmama and pictures of him and his mama and all these different ages of different stages of life. Pictures. And you mean to tell me that to this day, Eddie don't got no video images of that day, of that thing happening? when the city of Virginia Beach got pictures of me on the street. So when they say the footage that they saw in the courtroom of Hunter and Austin walking up to Carmelo, right? That was from the arena's cameras because the kids in 2026 for some reason didn't record this. Blasphemy. Blasphemy. I don't believe it. I don't believe not one bit of them not recording this. Especially Eddie, who ain't your friend. I don't know his last name. Cellulite said his last name on his show the other day, but I don't know his last name. I'm going to give him a name. It's called Not Your Friend. So his name is Eddie, Not Your Friend. That's his last name. So go check out the SBG. We're going to shout out to Sharon. Go check out Sharon's show where this gentleman, I think his name is Mo. Shout out to you, Mo, for watching the World 777 where truth and justice meet. Go watch the SBG show where Mo came up on the panel, right? And then going over to watching the World 777 to see his overview and commentary on the case because he was in the courtroom. Okay, so the last one was Queen 88. I keep saying Queen Sheba. Queen 88 was in there as well, but she also was in the courtroom. I want to say she said she was sitting behind Metcalf. So I'm going to listen to the people who, I'm not going to listen to everybody entirely. I have to listen to folks who were actually in the, shout out to Uda Ongo. Uda Ongo is also in the courtroom. These are folks that are in the courtroom, listening to the testimony, listening to the court, the witnesses, listening to the judges, listening to what they're saying. And they were there through the Diddy trials, and they're reporting on Diddy trials, and now they're going to be there through this trial. So another thing that he said that was interesting was that the part of the video footage showed, or the angle that they can see from the video footage, it showed Carmelo never standing up. That means that he did not stand up on his own fruition, right? He did not make himself stand up. That's different. I'm 5'4", so if you walk up to me and you standing over me and you grab me by my shirt, if you grab my little cute Hello Kitty shirt and you pull me, I didn't stand up by myself. But that makes sense. And then how am I stabbing you? I showed y'all my little knife. How am I stabbing you? And I'm going to get to you from sitting down position. I didn't believe that from the beginning, y'all. And I kept saying Carmelo was sitting down. He was sitting down. Y'all, everybody want to say, oh, no, he stood up. But he could not have stood up on his own fruition. He could have been pulled up to a stand. Not on his own, standing up, facing. He didn't square up to the guy. But if he never squared up, then he didn't stand up. How come ain't no period right there? Period. So when he said that, I thought that, and you know what's crazy? Shout out to the Drip Show, the Hideout, and the Shamurk. Because I said that like a couple days ago. I said, what if that wasn't the case? What if he was pulled into the knife? What if he fell onto the knife is what I said. What if him doing all that extra in your face put you in a situation where it pushed you towards him? And because you're gonna have to say that Carmelo got like all this like Secret Service training to know how to like do this from a sitting position. That's some old taken Steven Seagal type stuff, you know, where while I'm sitting down looking like I'm being peaceful and quiet, I'm gonna, choke you out type of thing. You ain't gonna see it coming. So that's, to me, he doesn't have the skill and the buoyancy and all that to be like, yo, I'm gonna get you from down here. He had to be pulled up, but then that makes sense if Austin was pulling him into himself as well. So while I'm pulling your shirt and grabbing on your backpack and pulling you towards me, you go ahead and thrust your hand and, hey, wherever it hit is where it hit. Why are we making this situation like responsible for this boy red rumming this young boy like all intentional. Like Red Rumming, this boy like doing this like because he was trying to do something to him. He was really trying to save his life and keep himself together. Because remember, we just went over the notes. We just pulled up the video on epilepsy over here on my YouTube side, and we found that the Board of Epilepsy, go look it up, right? Hey, L. Nixon, the Board of Epilepsy says the number one trigger for an epileptic seizure is going to be physical confrontation. It's the combination of me being upset, the combination of my blood, my adrenaline flowing, the combination of me hyperventilating, like, nigga, try me. All that is combined neurologically, physically, biologically creates a trigger. And again, we said that it's not like the seizure sitting over there minding its own damn business, ain't got nothing to do with you today. And because that knock on the head would have sent Carmelo into an epileptic moment, and all he needed was 5 minutes of uninterrupted seizuring, 5 minutes of no help. All he needed was 4 or 5 minutes, 6 minutes of no one coming to his rescue. Because in real life, if Austin and Hunter had punched him into a seizure, they weren't finna call no damn EMS. Who they gonna call? They ain't gonna call nobody. They gonna sit there and watch that boy have a seizure, and then y'all would have been cheering, talking about ding dong, because he would have been deleted because he had a seizure. But remember a few minutes ago we said, so the Kashala got beat up, and it enraged her tumor. Renaya was getting beat up, and it kicked off her autoimmune disease. I mean her neurological disorder. So they gonna try even if Carmelo was in the hospital on life support, they was gonna say that he wasn't on the life support because of him having a fight with Austin and what's the other boy, Hunter. They're gonna say he in there because he had a seizure. And we already said that we have established that a seizure is not what triggers the seizures is not a cause. It's a trigger. What causes him to have a seizure is already in his body, already having the neurological dysfunction. So it's crazy to think that wouldn't have happened. But what's even crazier to think is that them folks was gonna sit there and help that boy. And I'm really stuck on the idea that y'all would have been cheering either way. Okay? Would you say DJ Music nor the mindset? I don't know. What else did you say prior to that? You said good point. The traffic cameras. Oh, good point. Right, because music. When they sent me them pictures, I thought I did a photo shoot, child. I had thought I did me a photo shoot. I was like, where was I at doing posing like this? Girl, that child, they had me in the camera in the window, like I'm singing. I'm doing all these faces and stuff. I have freeze frame, like right. So I'm looking at the mail. I was like, Virginia, state of Virginia motor department. Well, I didn't, and I'm not in my mind. I'm like, I did not get pulled over by the police. So where is this coming from, baby? It was a camera. It was pause, click, pause, click. I was like, oh, I should have paused. I should have known. Now I need to make sure that I got my face beat, and I make sure I got cute outfit on, because if I run a stoplight, I'm finna have me a photo shoot. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. I was like, wait a minute, where all these pictures come from? And like I said, babies, sugars, they had a picture of me coming down the street, not stopping at the stop sign. They had that picture. They had me at the stop sign, turning. They had me driving down the street I was going down, okay? They had 4 images of that, 4 or 5. They had images of my face because I turned and looked down the street, and that camera caught that picture. That image was across the street on the other side, because it was me looking that way to see if traffic was coming. And then they had an image of me turning back the other way, so they got the back of my head, and I'm just like, hey, look, you better at me. And then they had me turn around and look, and had me turning. I did a 8 to 10 frame photo shoot. Didn't even know it. So that's why I don't understand why there's no other images from anywhere else that's surfacing. No kid had cameras. Because even in the Kashala Francis situation, that 13-year-old girl was getting beat up on the way home from school, and there still were kids that were taking their cameras out recording. There were still footage from the stop signs and from the street cameras. And depending on your rural neighborhood, you can't say that just because I live in a good neighborhood, there ain't no cameras on the streets on the traffic signs, right? Because there are, sugars. Baby, bad neighborhoods, there's cameras on every other street, and in the good neighborhoods, there's cameras on every other street. And even some of the good neighborhoods, because you can't equate it to the fact that they live in an upper scale neighborhood, because we have all driven through where they've seen the sign as you pull into that upper scale neighborhood where you start to see these houses go from 50,000, 80,000 to 100,000, and everything over here is worth $500,000 when you cross the street, right? So we've all driven down those streets where it's a nice, beautiful sign that says the community is there are surveillance cameras in the community around the area. There's a nice little sign that we pass. Sometimes they're white, sometimes they're yellow, with a little camera on it that says the area has surveillance. So you mean to sit there and tell me that with the Kashala Francis situation, that little girl, and that was happening in Houston, Texas. So again, Texas law, right? So what happened to Texas law now? Because Texas law, this is the third case in Texas, but the only case with Carmelo gets 35 years. With the Kashala Francis case, because the tumor was activated, there's no arrest. There's no arrest and nobody. Ain't nobody going to jail for arresting her. I mean, beating them up. Beating up that little girl. Because they're trying to say she had a pre-existing condition. Right? So does Carmelo Anthony. And this little girl probably didn't even know she had a tumor. So her fighting for her life would be her just fighting to not get beat up and to make another day, right? However, Kashala Francis, Carmelo Anthony knew he had a condition, so he really was consciously fighting for his life. That's what I think. Shout out to you, my chocolate chip cookie. Hey there. Peace and blessings to you. Shout out to Dr. Frizzle Frost. He was, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Shout out to you, Frizzle, for doing a grown-up stream. This is called grown-up streaming, okay? We're streaming like adults now, okay? Even though I do come for the game. I come to watch you play your video game. However, I do appreciate you guys having the conversation last night. That was pretty good to talk about it. So I just wanted to address some of that. That was part of my random thought. And I have been ranting for about 2 hours now about this Carmelo Anthony and all these other factors, right? So was it force or would it be an epilepsy? In her case, was it the force? Or was it the tumor? They gonna say it was the tumor so that they could not have to arrest these young people, right? With Renaya Wright, the young 5th grader in South Carolina, who was also beat up by her friends and also was deleted, a fisticuff fight. I'm not saying that these babies should have had a weapon on them or a tool on them to protect themselves. But it just makes me want to question that if they did have some sort of protection, would the baby still be here today, and be just in jail? And then with the Kashala Francis, she was in Texas, so would she be locked up for protecting herself because she didn't want to be deleted? That's just, I don't know. And then again, where is this imminent danger and this force from your fist? These are your fists that are punching me in my head. And the one punch to my head can cause me to have an epileptic seizure, to which you're not going to call for help because you're trying to beat my ass. So if you're here to hurt me, you're definitely not going to call for help if I was to start seizing right here on the ground. That's not there. There's no way you're going to convince me that Austin and the Metcalf brothers was going to be like, oh no, let's get Carmelo some help now that we beat him up and he's having a seizure. Exactly, no. And then guess what? Remember, don't forget, guys. You can go look up. The Board of Epilepsy have said that it takes 5 minutes of uninterrupted. You're not helping them. 5 minutes of you not doing nothing but sitting there and watching them fish around and have a whole seizure moment. If you don't help them so they won't bite their tongue, you don't put anything underneath their head to help them, you don't help comfort them. If you just stand back and watch, that 5 minutes can be so detrimental to their brain recovering and them even having later on issues physically. It could send the neurons could misfire and the synapse could be off, and that person can never make it out of. They could be in a complete coma. They could be catatonic for the rest of their lives. And it feels like some folks would rather that have happened to Carmelo than him be locked up and then Austin be deleted. To me, that was a real fight for your life situation, because he knew his life was at risk, because he knew he had epilepsy, and he also knows the rules of epilepsy. All right. Don't forget, guys, the number one trigger for epilepsy is what? Physical confrontation. Physical confrontation. You punching me, hitting me, stepping on me, booping me, pushing me, wanting to fight me. And then it's the whole combination of me having anxiety, having hyperventilation. The number two trigger of epilepsy is hyperventilation. The second thing that could trigger an epileptic seizure is hyperventilating, having anxiety, sitting here trying to explain, is he okay? Is that I just think I stabbed somebody? Yes, that action by itself sent him into an epileptic moment, in which he had a seizure on the car ride to the police department, to the jail. Right? What you say, no chaser? He said that's BS. What's BS? Oh yeah, you say that they put hands and feet on that girl. Ain't assault and battery. No, it wasn't assault and battery. In the case with the Renaya Wright girl who was 10 years old. In the case with her, she was a 5th grader from South Carolina who also was beat up by her classmates. But because she has a arteriovenous AVM is what they call it. I cannot get the word right now. But because she has that, which caused her to have issues while she was unconscious and deleted and expired, they're saying that's the reason why she passed. And the same thing with Kashala Francis. Kashala Francis, remember you guys? Hey, Suge. Hey, over here. Kashala Francis is the girl's name that was 13. So if you guys been watching on the other panels, remember when I pulled up and was like, what happened with the 12-year-old girl or the 13-year-old girl who was beat up and was deleted, and her mama who was on life support, right? Because she threw fisticuffs. She did what y'all keep saying and Carmela should have done. Y'all saying Carmela should have stayed and fight, but here we got an example of someone staying and fighting and ending up they not here no more, right? They're not here no more. And guess what? No chaser. There was no arrest made in the Kashala Francis situation either. None of those girls were arrested and put in jail for her taking that girl's life. Why? Because she had a pre-existing condition, and she had a tumor that was enraged by the fight. So by them and her mama, guess what? No chaser. There is video footage and audio footage of them beating up the girl. Kicking her head in, kicking and stomping her. And the reports can say that the kicking and stomping is what enraged the swelling and the beating of her head, which is also enraged the area where the tumor was. So in that regard, there were no arrests made. There was no assault and battery. They put hands and feet on that girl, and there were no assault and battery. And because she did not die because of the assault. She died because of the tumor. Okay, so it's just interesting to see, because at the end of the day, what was he supposed to do? Yeah, he's supposed to stay and fight, even though people with epilepsy know that they can't be hit and know that they have physical confrontations, that they're going to have a seizure. And then if he thought about, if I go into a seizure while I'm standing here in front of Austin and Hunter, what they gonna do about it? I would have thought about that, because that would have been the first thing up, one of the first few things in my mind of, I have a seizure, y'all ain't gonna do shit about it. I'm sorry for cussing, but y'all ain't gonna do nothing about it, right? Y'all ain't gonna do not a dang on thing. And I just thought that would be so much more tragic, but it seems like the public is more rooting for that instead of what happened. That would be fine if he was just laying there featured out and he expired, or laying in the hospital brain on brain dead, or in a coma because he got jumped, but he lived on for another few hours before he expired. And then, based on the precedence of these other cases, there were no arrests made. There were no charges brought against these other individuals because of the pre-existing condition like Carmelo Anthony has. So I just thought that was interesting. I'm going to attack the frenemy conversation later. Like I said, I need to find out the young girl's name who also was being beat up besides Shanquella Robinson, because the pre-existing, I didn't even realize it was going to go this way. When I looked up the other two young ladies, I found that they also had pre-existing conditions. Because I was looking at it more from the frenemy situation, from the person who was supposed to be there to have your back that wasn't your friend, right? Who, quote unquote, didn't record. But I'm a whole teenager out here. Where my Takara at? Because you're a whole teenager out here, period. And I didn't record a single thing when that's all we do every day is record. Like, we record. That's all we do is, like, record stuff. We record and post. That's what we do, right? We teenagers, we record and we post. That's all we do, period. I'm just saying. Off to another note, okay? After these messages, off to another note. I'm gonna close out with this because I had another video, but I think I'm gonna do this one because it's like a little funner. Okay. This is the part when I said the verdict is heavy. So I wanted to address the Carmelo Anthony situation because the verdict is heavy. But hey, life doesn't have to be, right? So I know a lot of people right now is gonna be out here like commemorating this moment, like commemorating it, like doing stuff to themselves and like getting flags and all kind of stuff, right? Y'all be like, oh, shout out to Carmelo, peace to the people, power to the folks. And it always moves someone to do something like get a tattoo. Well, I don't have no tattoos, y'all. I ain't got none one. I ain't got not a single tat. I don't have a dot. I don't have a period. I don't have a question mark. I don't have any ink on my body whatsoever. It's crazy, right? And I feel so bad sometimes. And then I'll be like, but I don't feel bad because, like, I get a job. I get a job where they say, do you have any tattoos that would infringe upon you working? I can always say no. Some people might have called me, like, scary, like, right? Like, scary. Some folks have said, were you playing? Right? But how I'm going to make it to be this old, beautiful 50, make it to be 51 years old with not a single tattoo on me. Not a single dot, not a single one. And you know why? I found out why, y'all. Psychology of Black women, Gen X, who never got tattoos, my babies, okay? I shout out to the page Female Psychology and Nicole and Female Psychology with Emma, okay? Because we're going to break it down. We're going to break it down a little bit. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, shut up. Let me go. Let me stop trolling. Because I'm short. All right, so we're going to watch this quick little, it's probably about 20 minutes, something like that. It's going to probably push me to a whole nother hour, which is great because I can use another hour. And then I'm thinking I'm going to jump off and then we'll get back to it. Okay? Okay. So we're going to go back to the beginning. It's cute. It looked like me. You know, it looked like it could be me without no braids. When I take my hair down, it's nice and cute and curly. So I feel like this was a good image representation as well, because she cute, I'm cute. It feels like it looks like me. So let's get into the psychology of Black Gen X women, yours truly, who never got a tattoo. Once again, that's me. Because I don't have none. And I can't even tell y'all what it's like getting a tattoo. But hey, let's watch the video and then let's wrap it up on a more of a positive note. I'm gonna come back with my friend and me conversation too, because I think that's important to discuss that side of it. What was going on with Mr. Eddie, who ain't your friend? I really want to know, and how come he ain't your friend? Shout out to you tapping in Detroit. Hey Sugars, hey Sugars, hey Logan Carter, shout out to you. Hey Rafaelina, shout out to you. Shout out to Jaden T. Shout out to Kakeem Austin. Shout out to Taekwon. All right. Shout out to you guys for showing up on the Twitter side. All right, y'all. So let's get into this video, and this is gonna explain why your girl Jen don't have no tattoos. I feel like maybe I should drop the link. Let me pin it. Let me pin it, and just in case someone wants to come and talk to me. All right, so let me just go ahead and put that up there. Hold on. What is this? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. He's live right now. Let me see. Okay, I'm just pinning the message real quick. Pinning the link just real quick in case y'all wanted to hit the link and come on up. All right, so let's get into the psychology of Black Gen X women who never got a tattoo, because that's me.
Somebody at the cookout who's known you for 20 years glances at your bare arm and asks it the way people ask something they're a little embarrassed to ask. Wait, you don't have a single one? Not even a small one? You watch something shift behind their eyes. For half a second, you became slightly mysterious, or old-fashioned, or deeply principled, or just stuck somewhere in 1989. They can't decide which. You shrug, refill your cup, move on. But part of you noticed how surprised they were. Because there's a whole psychology behind that blank arm, and it runs deeper than people assume, especially for us. Here's where you sit historically. You were the bridge generation on tattoos. You watched the whole thing transform in real time. From something your uncle's friend had after the Navy, to something the girl at the front desk got on her lunch break. You were the first wave of Black women in your 20s who could walk into a clean studio in a strip mall, flip through a binder, and walk out with something permanent before the night was over. That option existed for you. You were eligible. You were available. You were exactly the right age. And you sat it out. Now, Pew Research has tracked tattoo adoption across generations. About a third of all Americans have at least one tattoo now. 46% of adults between 30 and 49. Among women under 30, it's closer to 56%. The Ipsos data on Gen X specifically lands around 32% with at least one tattoo, which means the majority, about 2 out of 3 of you, have nothing. No butterfly, no lower back piece, no quote in cursive on the collarbone. Not even the small one nobody was supposed to know about. You had every opportunity. The studios were there. Your friends were going. The culture was shifting in real time around you. And still, something in you said no. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just a quiet, consistent no. Every single time. For 30 years. Fear is not the right explanation. You weren't scared. So what was actually happening? The first layer is about permanence, but not in the way people usually mean it. Picture yourself at 22, sitting in a tattoo shop with your friends, flipping through the flash art on the wall. Somewhere in the back of your mind, a voice asks the question most people brush past. Will you still love this when you're 40? You couldn't brush it off. You sat there and tried to picture 40-year-old you. And that woman was a complete stranger. You had no idea what she was going to find embarrassing. You didn't know who she'd be waking up next to, what she'd be listening to in the car, what she'd believe about the world, or whether she even recognized the version of you sitting in that chair. You thought, I am not making a permanent decision on behalf of someone I haven't met yet. That right there is the psychology. Most people don't think of their future self as a
That is a crazy fact. I don't know if I thought, okay, so for those of you on TikTok, what she just said was part of the reason why people don't get tattoos ever in life is because they're not sure if they want to make a permanent decision um for a future them, right? And they haven't even met this future person yet. This is you growing into who you're going to be, and you don't even know who that is. And what's crazy, y'all, is I was a CNA for 7 years. Yum, yum. I was a CNA for 7 years, sugars. And baby, changing an old person's diaper and that has a tramp stamp is hilarious, right? Changing a person, we can't call them diapers, we have to call them briefs. But changing your brief is hilarious, right? Having to listen, I had a client, I'm gonna let the video play for a few more minutes too. I had a client who, her and her daughter, the mother was in my nursing home. I mean, the mom was like, I think she had Parkinson's and she had a couple other things going on with her to where she was catatonic. Like she could, you go move her arms. She was like a Barbie, right? They call it, we would not, it's not an official term, but they call it like the Barbie condition because your legs and your arms are kind of frozen and we can move you. You know, we put your arms up, we change your shirt, we put your arms back down. You know, we pick your legs up, we change your brief and put your clothes on, we put you back down. And it almost looks as if like you're a baby doll, but you're alive and well and you're there. It just looks, they don't have any more control over their body. But baby, sugars, okay, that mom, she had her some D cups that was perfect sugar while she was laying there in the nursing home, honey. She had her butt job was, I don't know where she got it done, but got her a butt job. Her Brazilian was on, when I put her little brief diaper on her, honey, and stand her up, put her clothes on her. She had a little old lady donkey. Okay. And I'm just saying, because I'm changing her brief, I'm putting her clothes on for the day, I'm getting her dressed because she's one of my patients, my residents, and I have to get her out for the day. And um and she's got all this work done. And of course you get to roll her over and you see every now and then you see an old lady with like 70 years old with Parkinson's or 80 years old with dementia, and she's got a tramp stamp on her little wrinkly old back. I don't know, babies. I don't know, but that is hilarious to me, right? The belly tattoos and baby nipple rings, hilarious. Okay, so I feel like that's a valid point because I'm not saying that was my reason. I just didn't find anything out. I think the video explains more of my reason, but that wasn't one of them. I wasn't looking at myself later going, well, I was looking at myself later regarding the tramp stamp, you know, things that were going to be kind of signature-ish, like of my generation. But I do know I was not thinking like, oh, what is going to be the 50-year-old me going to be like? Or do I want to have this tattoo on my arm, on my little saggly, wrinkly arm, or my back fat? You know, it was a small tattoo, but now since my back is big, it's a big tattoo kind of thing. I was thinking about it more like that. I wasn't thinking about like, oh, I'm going to be this distinguished person and I can't have this, you know, this be seen. I was like, how I'm going to look old as hell with like a tattoo on my back, then I'm gonna come get it, like, you know, stuff like that. I was thinking kind of like that lines. All right, so let's get back to the video. But that's a true fact though. You won't get it. Some people don't get tattoos because they're not sure how the older them is going to be in their lifestyle. And even then, they mentioned in the video, you know, having to explain that decision or having to be responsible for that decision later, and being with someone who could be a problem. So, here, story time, right? Another story time. I was watching an episode of, I want to say it might have been Grey's Anatomy, right? Where there was a gentleman who he was in the hospital because he did something stupid with his buddy friends. And he's in the hospital. He knocked himself unconscious and this whole thing, right? And his buddy friends were like, we have been like trying to get him to shave his beard and we've been trying to get him to shave this beard. His beard looks crazy, and we've been trying to get him to this whole time. So he is in the hospital bed, and he's, the friends are coming in. He's unconscious. And the friends come in and they shave his beard. Underneath his beard, he's got tattoos of swastikas on his face, you guys. He got tattooed the N-word lover, the N-word hater, or whatever it said, on his face. He had a swastika under his face. He grew his beard in because guess what? His wife or his girlfriend is biracial. So when he fell in love with this half-black woman, he grew his beard in because he knew that the symbols on his face were, instead of him going and getting them removed, he let his beard cover it up. And he always kept his beard nice and tapered. Was not a problem. He looked great. However, when the buddies came in and did the prank while he was unconscious to shave his beard, and they realized underneath the beard, this is what he had been hiding. So again, some people are looking at the tattoos like, I might be all black power when I'm a teenager. I might be all white power when I'm a teenager, but then you grow out of it, or you grow into a different frame of mind. And now you're like, okay, that's not me anymore. And now you let this tattoo has to go somewhere, because what you're doing, how do you know that you can have a whole white power tattoo when you was a teenager and grow up and really love and want to be with a black person? And now this whole white power makes no sense, and it's offensive. And is this what you really mean? So I just thought that was an interesting part of that video, because they said people are looking at it like, I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to, have anything on my body. And then I wake up next to the person that I've, the man or woman of my dreams. And now I got to explain this to them, and it's offensive. Yeah. So let's go ahead.
Genuinely different person. They assume future them is just current them with a little more mileage. You knew better, because you'd already watched yourself become completely unrecognizable. You were a different person at 15 than you were at 22. You were going to be a different person at 40. You had enough data on yourself by 25 to know the data wasn't stable. And here's the piece that connects specifically to us. A lot of Black Gen X women grew up being asked to be certain things, certain ways, all the time. Dependable, composed, together, the one who holds it down. So when you actually got a moment of choice, of pure personal expression with no one else's needs attached to it, your nervous system didn't just pick something off a wall. It paused. It asked whether this was actually yours or just the next thing someone handed you. The tattoo regret data supports the instinct. Roughly 1 in 4 tattooed Americans regret at least one of theirs. And the people who regret got their tattoos significantly younger than the people who don't. The 22-year-old version of you that you didn't trust.
And then, so what they just said was that the 22-year-old version of you that got that tattoo when you were young, you lived to regret at least one of them. Like, you may have multiple tattoos, and then the one you got when you're the youngest, right? That 20-year-old mind that's so underdeveloped, right? The same mind as the frontal lobe that's still developing, the same person, right? That 22-year-old made this crazy decision, and now as you get older, you realize that most of those that decision was not okay. And what you did with that decision was not okay, because now you don't like it. Right. So you ask people with tattoos all over their body, you're like, where this come? What does this mean? Where you get this from? Why you get this tattoo? And everything has like such a sentimental reason. But then they always be like, I don't know why I got this. I don't know why I got this one right here. So that's right. They say 1 out of every 2 people don't, they have a tattoo that they regret having. Because that younger mind if they're not old enough at 22 to make other decisions that we think that they're to be old enough to make, how do you even factor in getting a tattoo and making that a good decision? So it's not that you're scared, it's just that wasn't a good decision. You didn't want to look up later and say, wow, I have made this decision and I don't really think I really like it like that. And then what happened? Now we got a whole show of people going in and getting their tattoos covered up or getting them turned into something else. All right, let's go back.
Was statistically right. That future stranger you refused to bind would have had opinions about it. Now here's layer 2, and this one is specific to how you're wired. You set out tattoos precisely because everyone around you was getting them. Read that again. The popularity is what triggered the refusal. You watched the first wave. The tribal armband. Somebody on your block came back with one in 1996 and walked around like he'd been transformed. Then the lower back piece on every woman at the club. Then the Chinese characters that turned out to mean something like soup. Then the dolphin on the hip. Then the dream catcher. Then the infinity sign with the word breathe written through it. Then the matching tattoo a couple got the week before they broke up. You watched the same design show up on 3 different people at the same party in the same month. You weren't eye-rolling. That's not your move. You weren't judging anyone out loud. You just noticed. And noticing what everyone else is doing without automatically joining in, that's something you've done your whole life. There's a particular kind of intelligence that runs through Black Gen X women that doesn't always get named. You grew up watching adults make fast decisions that cost them later. You watched the adults in your family and your neighborhood get swept up in things, financial things, relationship things, belief things, and you absorbed a very specific lesson. When something is everywhere all at once, slow down. Watch where it lands first. The tattoo industry was one of the earliest tests of that instinct. And when you slowed down, what you saw was most people were getting the popular tattoo, the one that was trending that year, the one their cousin had, the one they picked off the wall when they walked in with no plan. A whole lot of people made something permanent out of something borrowed and then called it self-expression.
And see, that was the other thing too for me and why I was not getting a tattoo at that time, because it was something like, okay, for me, I don't know why did I think, am I muted? I don't know why did I think that like tattoo artists had to like make your tattoo. I didn't know that I was going to walk into a room. Oh my God. The weekend I got my belly pierced, my navel pierced. That's the only thing on me, right? My navel piercing is the only thing on me. The weekend I got my navel pierced, I got my navel pierced twice because I didn't know. The first time I got it pierced in Venice Beach. And of course you walk in, there are literally like tattooed pictures of people, celebrities. It's just so inviting to get one. Because if you look around, there's like images of everything on snakes and dragons and birds and butterflies, and everything has a meaning, even down to the Chinese language. Like she said in the video, people have been walking around with Chinese words on them and didn't even realize this whole time it said soup, right? Or it says, butterfly, or it might say dog poop. We don't know. So it would be overwhelming. And I'll be looking through the picture books. Those picture books would be massive. And I'd be looking through the book, and it would be the same thing over and over again a lot. It's either the tribal, the infinity symbol, the dragon, and I'm not Asian to know what that really means, right? Even with the tribal things, So that was another thing for me was, I thought the artist is supposed to draw your tattoo, not like pick something out of a picture book or a cookie cutter kind of thing, where everyone's going to have the same tattoo. But and even then when I thought like, okay, at least the tattoo artist would draw it a little different or do something a little different. And it was just like the video said, I started seeing the same tattoo on different people, the same tribal band. You got a tribal band that was literally a black band. Not the Moana, detail that's like on Maui, right? It was a black band across your arm. So that means you sat there and had this tattoo artist literally color in between the lines. And it's black. It's nothing. I just thought that was interesting too. Like some of these tribal bands that don't even know what it meant and why it's on your body. So I just thought that part was interesting too, because I always thought that I would go to a tattoo artist and they would draw something that would be specific to me, and then I would be able to get that tattooed on my body. But then I come to realize not all tattoo artists are created equal, and at the same time, people misdraw what you ask them to draw. They don't do a proper representation. So that was kind of the hindrance as well, because it was a little scary with that part. It was like, okay, so if I go to you, and I've heard people talk about that, like they will say they went to one tattoo artist, but then they couldn't find that guy, he got locked up, whatever the case was, or they moved, and then they have to go to someone else. So now they have two different styles of art on their body, which is fine, I guess, because it's kind of like your house, right? Not every piece in your house is by the same artist, so it's nice, a nice mixture or a nice variety, right? But I always thought something more personal on your body should be like, I commend the folks who go to the same person, and almost everything on their body is from the same person. Like once you find a good hairdresser, you keep going to that same person. You find a good salesman, you go back to that same store. You find a good tattoo artist, you go to that same artist, and they'll tattoo everything else that you want. So I just thought of it like that. So of course, walking into these stores, I'd be like, walking into these tattoo shops, I would be like, this is a lot. Like how? And then on top of that, again, these tattoos everybody got. If y'all got a picture of them already, it just, to me, that's what it seemed like. If y'all already have the image, someone already has these tattoos. So I wanted something that was going to be created just for me, and I guess I never really settled on anything. So let's just go ahead with the video and see what else they say. The psychology on why I don't have any tattoos, right? And why you guys do and I don't.
That made you back up. Marketing research has tracked this for years. Gen X consistently scores highest on what researchers call skepticism toward group enthusiasm. You sniff out collective momentum and step back from it. That's not cynicism. It's pattern recognition, built from watching the adults in the room get it wrong repeatedly at scale. Your blank arm is one of the clearest pieces of evidence for that wiring. Now here's layer 3, and this is the one most people miss entirely. There's a concept in psychology called costly signaling. A peacock grows a giant tail. The tail is impractical. It makes the bird slower and more visible to predators. But surviving despite the tail is the whole point. It announces, I'm strong enough to carry this. I can afford it. I'm built for it. Tattoos work the same way. Getting a tattoo says, I am committed to this. I'm willing to wear it forever. I went through pain to make sure you could see it. That's the signal. Costly, permanent, visible. You send the opposite signal. Your blank arm says, I haven't found anything yet that I trust enough to wear forever. I'm still listening. I haven't locked in. I haven't handed over the most permanent canvas I own to any.
See, and that's an interesting factor too, that it was cost versus permanency. That for, I would go and look at the different tattoos, and I would hear people say, oh, I got a tattoo artist and he works out of his garage for $50. And then I would be like, I would go to tattoo parlors and shops, and they'd be like, oh, it's $300. And I'm looking like, for what? For what? Now, I also understand that the cost and the pain were equivalent in regards to like the permanency. I went through all this, and what's crazy to me sometimes when I would see people with tattoos, and they'll be telling me, "Oh, I got to get it redone because it's faded or it's keloid," and they didn't take care of it right away, and now it keloids. It looks different. Baby sugars, all that was scurry. All that was a lot to decide. Hey, King Dexter, what's going on with you? Hey, John B. Shout out to you guys. Okay, let's go back to the video. So any single idea or identity at the moment, cost versus the pain and the permanency.
Single idea, identity, or moment. That's a signal too. Quieter. It doesn't get attention at the cookout, but it's evidence of something real. Now layer that with Dr. Cheryl Woods Giscom's Superwoman schema, which describes the psychological pattern many Black women carry of feeling obligated to be everything for everyone, always strong, always capable, never needing anything. One of the hidden costs of that schema is that it disconnects you from your own body. When your body is primarily a tool for getting things done, for holding things together, for showing up for everyone else, it stops feeling like a place that belongs to you. It becomes a vehicle, functional, maintained.
That's an interesting point too. They just said for you guys on TikTok that that's especially as Black women, we see our bodies as tools and see them as machines in regards to getting things done and living life, to where we almost don't see it as or we do or don't see it as a point of possession, right? Something that we possess. This is my body. So for some people, getting a tattoo is reclaiming that possession, saying, hey, I can go put this, I can do this to reclaim myself. And this is a tattoo I got when I came out of my depression, or, you know, rejuvenated my life and was born again. So just as a person would not get a tattoo because their body, they're in autopilot. They don't even see themselves and their body as being a temple, right? It's a machine. And in regards to the machine, it's not personal. I need to keep myself together so that I can make sure that I'm there for everybody else. And then the tattoo is the one thing that they do for themselves. So that's what also the good point that they brought up just now.
But not really yours to do something just for yourself with. So when someone hands you a needle and asks what you want to put on your body, just because you want it, just for you, with no practical function attached, some part of you doesn't even know how to answer that question. Not because you're repressed, because the concept of the body as personal sanctuary, as something you decorate out of pure desire, never fully got built into the blueprint. A 2012 study comparing personality profiles of tattooed and non-tattooed people found that the tattooed group scored higher on extroversion, sensation-seeking, and need for external uniqueness. The non-tattooed group scored higher on conscientiousness and slower commitment to visible decisions. That's the polite.
Wait a minute. I don't think I got this far the first time. What? Hold on. Let's rewind that.
Way of need for study, concept of the body as personal sanctuary.
Let's rewind.
Some part of you doesn't even know how to answer that question.
What was the question?
Not because you're repressed, you functional, maintained,
okay,
but not really yours to do something just for yourself with. So when someone hands you a needle and asks what you want to put on your body, just because you want it, just for you, with no practical function attached, some part of you doesn't even know how.
Okay, so the question for the tattoo persons are when they come up to you and they say, what do you want on your body? And you're not sure because part of you doesn't even know because it's not a connection to it. It's not an emotional connection yet.
How to answer that question. Not because you're repressed, because the concept of the body as personal sanctuary, as something you decorate out of pure desire, never fully got built into the blueprint. A 2012 study comparing personality profiles of tattooed and non-tattooed people found that.
All right, so a 2012 study of personality profiles. Oh dear. Of tattoo group and non-tattoo group people, right? So what they discovered was that the tattooed group of people, they have high on extroversion, sensation seeking, and a need for external uniqueness. So their uniqueness is on the outside. The things that make them special and make them unique is on the outside. The non-tattooed individuals were higher on consciousness and slower commitment to visible decisions. I didn't know that.
The tattooed group scored higher on extroversion, sensation-seeking, and need for external uniqueness. The non-tattooed group scored higher on conscientiousness and slower commitment to visible decisions. That's the polite way of saying you think things through. But for Black Gen X women specifically, there's another layer underneath the conscientiousness. A quiet relationship with your own body that is still being negotiated. Here's the piece that gets at something deeper. Most people don't think about their body as property they own. They treat it like background scenery to their actual life. It's just there. It runs in the background while the real stuff happens. You don't do that. You have always understood, maybe without having words for it, that your body is the one thing on this earth that actually belongs to you. Not your job. That can let you go.
Belongs to me.
Not your house. The bank has the paperwork. Not your relationships. Those can leave. Not even your memories, because memories revise themselves without asking permission. Your body is the only inventory that has your name on it from the beginning. And a lot of Black Gen X women grew up around a specific kind of lesson about the things that belong to you. You watched adults not take care of what was theirs. Cars that died because someone skipped the oil changes for 2 years. Homes that fell apart because the roof kept getting put off. You absorbed a quiet rule from all of that watching. The things that are yours, you protect. You don't mark them on impulse. You don't hand them over to a trend. But here's where it gets complicated for us specifically, because that same body that belongs to you has also been the site of a lot of things you didn't choose. The strong Black woman trope lives in the body.
Oh, I wonder, can y'all hear
The
it?
expectation to be physically present, emotionally available, visually composed. All of it gets carried in the body. The body has been a place of labor more than a place of pleasure, a place of service more than a place of sanctuary. So when the tattoo conversation comes up, there are actually two things happening at once. There's the part of you that is protective of your body because it's yours and you don't make permanent decisions lightly.
Hear it.
And there's the part of you that hasn't fully inhabited your body as a place of pure personal expression yet, because that's a newer idea than people acknowledge. Both of those things can be true at the same time. And they've been running quietly underneath every conversation about your bare arm for 30 years. Now here's the part most people don't want to say out loud. When you ask tattooed people why they got theirs, the most honest answer is usually some version of, I needed something to point at when someone asked me who I am. Pew data on this. Is worth sitting with. Around 69% of tattooed Americans say a major reason they got their tattoo was to honor or remember someone or something. The tattoo is a signpost, a way of putting a piece of identity outside the body where it can be seen and confirmed. You never needed the signpost. Maybe you couldn't have written it out in a journal entry at 22. Maybe you didn't have language for it. But you knew who you were. You weren't carrying your identity around in your hands looking for somewhere to mount it. It was already inside. It didn't need external proof. This is one. one of the most underrated things about the Black women in this generation. A lot of you have a stable inner sense of self that doesn't require external confirmation. You don't need to wear the shirt to prove you love the artist. You don't need to post the trip to confirm you went. You don't need the lyric inked on your forearm to remember what it means to you. The meaning lives inside. The arm adds nothing to it. Young generations got tagged partly because digital life made identity feel unstable. They're being watched constantly. Their bio has to say something. Their face is in thousands of photos they didn't take. Identity became a moving target, and a tattoo is one way to nail something down. To say, at least this part is fixed. At least this part is mine. At least this part is real. You didn't grow up needing to nail it down. You grew up with a self that was allowed to be private. You had a latchkey, a bedroom door, a journal that wasn't shared with anyone. Nobody was watching you 24 hours a day, asking you to perform yourself. You built an interior life because you had to, because you were often alone, and that interior life became the stable thing. So the body stayed blank. Not because there was nothing inside worth expressing, because what was inside didn't need the body as a billboard. There's one more layer under all of this, and it might be the most honest one. You have a relationship with regret that most people don't. When most people make a decision, they assume they'll work out any regret later. They figure they can adjust, redirect, course correct. Life is flexible, right? Most things can be undone, or at least modified. A tattoo is one of the few decisions in modern life that is actually committed. Removal exists, but it's expensive, it's painful, and it's incomplete. The ghost of the original thing usually stays. So the tattoo becomes a test case for how you handle truly irreversible choices. And a lot of Black Gen X women are deeply allergic to making locked-in decisions they can't refine later. Not because of indecision, because of earned wisdom. You watched enough things break to understand that the smart move is always to keep room for the next adjustment. You watched relationships that seemed permanent dissolve in a season. You watched careers that felt stable disappear overnight. You watched whole belief systems get dismantled by a single piece of information that arrived too late. You learned to keep receipts. You learned to leave doors slightly cracked. You learned that anything fixed is usually waiting to become a problem later. You didn't want to be locked into the 22-year-old's taste. You didn't want to be locked into the 30-year-old's heartbreak. You didn't want to be locked into any single version of yourself because you've already been so many versions, and you've needed the freedom to keep becoming. The tattoo is the fixed thing. You don't make fixed things lightly, and there's something ancestral in that too. Black women in this country have had very little control over what happened to their bodies across generations. The body is a site of autonomy, of personal choice, of sovereign decision-making. That's not a given. That's something being reclaimed in real time. And some of us, maybe without fully naming it, decided that the reclaiming looked like protection. Like not letting anything be done to this body that wasn't fully, deliberately, unambiguously chosen. That's not fear. That's not being behind the times. That's a 30-year decision made quietly, every single time the opportunity came up. Here's what I want you to sit with for a second, because this is where it gets interesting. The conversation about tattoos and Black Gen X women isn't really about tattoos. It's about the body as a place you're still learning to come home to. The soft life isn't just about bubble baths and rest days, even though it includes those things. It's about rebuilding a relationship with your own body that isn't primarily organized around what your body can produce or endure. It's about asking what you actually want, what actually feels good, what you would choose if nobody needed anything from you for 5 minutes. And for a lot of us, that question is newer than it should be. Some of you are in your 40s and 50s now, and you're realizing that the blank arm wasn't just caution or wisdom or identity stability, even though all of those things are true. It was also a body that was waiting to be asked what it wanted, waiting to be consulted, waiting for the moment when the question wasn't, what do you need to do next? But what do you actually want to carry? Some of you still don't want a tattoo. That's completely its own answer, and it's a valid one. The psychology behind the blank arm is real, and it's yours. But some of you are sitting with something else now. A curiosity you kept putting off. A symbol that kept coming back. Something you've thought about for a decade that you never gave yourself permission to seriously consider, because there was always something more practical to do. Always someone else's need that came first. Always a version of yourself that felt more responsible than the version that wanted something just for herself. If that's you, the question isn't whether the tattoo makes sense. The question is whether you've actually let yourself want things without immediately building a case for why you shouldn't. That's the sunset flag that turns want into ability even finishes forming. Your body kept the receipts. It remembered every time you almost said yes and then talked yourself out of it. Every time you walked past the studio. Every time you flipped through someone else's photos and felt something flicker and then put it away. The blank arm has its own intelligence. Respect it. And if you're ready to ask the body what it actually wants now, in this season, without the old logic running the calculation, that's worth paying attention to, too. You became one of the only people left who can still be a surprise. Someone whose identity isn't pre-printed on the wrapping. Someone who held back. watched the wave, kept the receipts, and decided the cleanest move was a deliberate one. If this landed for you, watch this next video where we go deeper into the body as sanctuary framework and what reclaiming it actually looks like in practice. Subscribe.
Shout out to y'all. I was on. Thank God I was talking to TikTok, not talking to y'all. But I like that concept that she said. I am one of the few people left in this world who does not have a tattoo, where the ingredients and the framework is not. I mean, the name is not printed across the package. So it doesn't say ramen noodle for me, right? It says if you want to know who Genesis is, you have to actually open the box and get to know me. Well, pause on opening the box. That's what I meant. I didn't mean open that box. I just meant to, open, get to know me. Not open my box. Okay. So I think I went, almost 3 hours. Let's go for it. Let's get this little more minutes. And hey, Summer, how are you over there? Hey, Christian, how are you? Swamp, hey, what's up? You joined. Yes, the debating if tattoos reveal identity or just billboards. Share your thoughts. What do y'all think over here on TikTok? Let me know what you think over here. What you think about tattooing your body? Is it a billboard of is it identity? Are you a billboard for the things that's happening in your life and the things that's going on in your life? Are you a walking symbolism, right? Are you a walking news flash, right? Hey, look what happened. Guess my grandma died, right? Look what happened. You know what I mean? Are you more so, is it identifying yourself? Like the tattoos tell us who you are. Can I travel through your body and all your ink to get an idea of just who you are? And those of us who don't have tattoos. And if you have one tattoo, you have a tattoo. Okay? You can't be like, well, I ain't got no tattoos, but this little one right here. You got to be like, I got a tattoo. You can't be like, I don't got no tattoos, and you got a whole tattoo right there, right? Is that something that we say in Detroit? You got a whole tattoo? I feel like that's something we say. So if you're over here on TikTok, please share your thoughts with me. Tell me what you think. Are your tattoos symbolic of your identity, or are they more so just a billboard for you to tell what's going on in your life, right? And those of you over here on YouTube, I want to know what you think too. So drop your comments below the video. If you are watching right now, go ahead and let me know what you think in the chat. And please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure that you follow, and make sure that you guys show love. I'll be over here sitting at the wall and chilling at the wall. Oh, my little fan. I'm having a old lady summer, y'all. I am 50 years old, and I need my fan because I don't know when it just got hot. I don't know when that just happened. But I'm also cold at the very same time right now. My hands are freezing, but my body is hot. That's crazy. So let me know what you think. If you have tattoos for the second half of my show, if you have tattoos out there, let me know why you have your tattoo. What did you get it for? Was it because of identity? Because you needed something outside of yourself to identify yourself with? Like you are your grandmother's child, and you put your, rest in peace grandma, rest in peace mama. That shows me that you love your family, right? Is that who you are? Is it true? Do your tattoos represent you? Are you that? Because if you're in a gang, your tattoos will be representing you, right? If you were a part of a tribe, your tattoos will be representing you. Even down to like on a team even, right? Being part of a team, being part of a squad even, right? You get tattoos. But in the video, they even talked about the regret. So hit the chat, hit the link if you want to tell me I'm only going to be up here for a few more minutes. But at the same time, drop your comments, right? Drop your comments below. Even after this is over, you can still drop your comments and let me know, why did you get your tattoo? And do you still have it? And then if you have it, why? What was the meaning for it? Is it identity? Or are you just a billboard, again, to share your life experiences? Or are each one of those things have a meaning? And then the second question is, which tattoo do you regret? Which one of your tattoos did you regret? When did you get it? Was it when you were super young, or did you get one later in life and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have did that. That was that drunk night in Vegas, right? I have had those moments where I'm like, oh, I should get this. But then the older I get, I'll be like, oh my God, what about the medical factors? Like, is it going to keloid? Is it going to look ugly? Do I got to live with this when I'm 70? How do I explain this when I'm in the old folks home type of thing? And it just always, I don't know, I guess I always thought it through. I never realized what they were saying about it psychologically, and the whole Gen X factor and the whole Black woman factor, right? Even down to the fact that Black women have a history of reclaiming their bodies, right? Being assaulted and taken advantage of in the past by some of our oppressors. So that's even mattered to some women on why they don't have tattoos. So I just thought that was very interesting, y'all. I'm going to play some more music. Then I'm going to go ahead and log off. I thank you guys for showing up and hanging out with me. I'm going to log off, and I'm going to take my dog for a WALK. He's sleeping right now, so we don't want to say the word because that word's going to wake him up. Keep your guys' eye open for the Fur Baby channel, for the Fur Baby show. Hopefully that show will be coming up. I've been tired, y'all, and just working. So it's just been a little bit of a challenge to like keep things going. I don't know how y'all do it. I couldn't do it. I just plugged this. Oh, I see why it's not working. I'm like, I just plugged this thing in. Yeah, but it's not plugged up, so it's not going to give me that much heat. Oh, cool me off. I got to plug it up because it died. But yeah, you guys, show the love, show support, come by. Whenever you see me live, come by and show love and support. Tell me what you think. All right. Hey. Okay. Hey, what's up? John Bernard. Hey, Dizzy Dre. Hey, Dizzy Dre, how are you? Okay. Hey, y'all. Thanks for showing up over here on TikTok. I think I might keep the TikTok going while I go on a couple other panels, log on and see what's going on. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to play this TikTok game and all this other stuff. So we're going to figure that out. So before we end the show, I just want to let y'all know I appreciate you and I thank you guys. Once again, I am at 293 subs, working my way up to 300 easily. I don't know how easy it's going to be, but I'm putting it in the universe. And on that note, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, you guys, before my 3-hour mark. I've been online for 3 hours. I'm racking up my my watch hours, so hopefully I get up there sometime soon. I don't know how far away I am. I know I'm quite a distance, but I'm going to check periodically to see where I am in the watch hour game. So for that much, you guys, I respect and love y'all for coming up and showing out and hanging out. And we're gonna let it go from here. Who's coming in the house? I got some more viewers. Y'all. Okay, let me go ahead here. We're gonna take it on out of here, you guys. Again, I appreciate you guys for coming. Thank y'all so much. I'll see y'all on the next stream. Shout out to all you babies. And on that note, good night, or see y'all later, sugars.
Glad you stayed till the end. Hey, Charlotte. Now that we had some time together. Hey, Charlotte. We got to go, but it's not forever. Hey, Charlotte. Come back and see me again. You are always welcome here, my friend. Don't be a stranger, keep coming through. I will always a spot here for you. Genesis, I am is who I'll always be. Honest and full transparency. Keeping it real as real can be. Like, comment, subscribe. Like, if you wanna comment, tell me that you don't mind. Subscribe. And tell a friend and tell a friend. Glad you stayed to the end. Spread the word, pass it on, cause we're doing big things with faith and holy guidance. So I'll see you next time. Genesis, I am.